what's up? I'm finishing up the links. That's what we're doing right now. Yeah. And then of course we'll be on. I don't have too many more. We are still dealing with an issue. I don't know 100% what happened, but all my presets are gone. So every time that I come in here, I'm having to reset everything from the base, like from memory. And I think that I've got it now, as opposed to the last time we did one of these. I'm pretty sure that I've got this doing what I want it to do now. I'm pretty sure I got my bit rates correct and everything like that. It says excellent connection. Like I said, I have no clue what happened to the last one, but that should not be an issue this time. I think I've got everything set up. I think I've got everything out, and we will go from there. So, beatboxing, that scares me. Is my audio bad? I guess there's one way for me to figure out. Boop, boop. Just in case. I really should check, because right now I have no idea what's going on with the stream because the last one screwed up and all of my stuff is different now. Talking. Okay, all that seems right as far as what I'm hearing on my side and everything. So there, we got that. Let's switch this to live chat so I get the updates and everything, and then we should be underway. I did get the Blu-ray. I have not opened it yet. The artwork on the case looks fantastic. I mean, but I assumed it would, and I haven't had a chance to really go through it or anything like that. And I'm kind of waiting, like, for my daughter, because she'll be here next weekend, and I know, like, we watched it, we liked it a lot. I know it's going to be the same thing. She's going to like it a lot again, I'm sure. And she's been talking about it too, the fact that it's coming out soon. So I know that we're both kind of looking forward to seeing it. So I'm kind of waiting for her. Otherwise, there shouldn't be any issues. No, you're fine. Don't be sorry. Look, right now, because I'm going off of what happened last time, I'm pretty sure that I've got it fixed. I'm pretty sure. But we'll see as we go on how fixed it is. Or isn't, for that matter. But get started here. Channel updates. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, as opposed to the last time. And I've gotten pretty good with this kind of stuff in terms of setting it up really fast. I have plenty of experience with these going poorly. So I have a lot of experience in terms of turning it around as fast as I can, too. And I haven't seen you in one of these in a very long time. But I do know you're busy doing a lot of stuff lately, too. Let's see. In terms of channel updates, there are a couple before we get started. One, I have videos going all the way up to the 19th. So we are still on track to have a video every single day for an entire year. That is a heck of a feat, and so far I'm almost 6 months in without missing a single post. In terms of that, I have videos that are already posted up to the 19th, and I have, looks like 3 topic videos that are set to be edited soon, like very soon, and I got notices today that this doesn't even make sense to me. Okay, so get ready for this one. My Maximum Hulk is processing. They're taking my money tomorrow for Maximum Hulk. I still don't have Spider-Man. Like I don't understand what's going on. I don't get it. But I got a notice today that they are processing Maximum Hulk, they are processing Terror Claws Skeletor, and they are processing Ninjor. And I'm like, this is wild to me because, like I said, I still haven't even got the Maximum Spider-Man. I haven't even got a notice that it's even in flux, it's even in movement, nothing. So it sounds like I'm gonna get Hulk before I get Spider-Man, which just seems weird to me, because I'm telling you, I was in the first wave of people that ordered, but just like we talked about, and I've got another video that's going to talk a little bit more about this. I'm hoping I can get it edited tonight. If I don't, I'll edit it tomorrow because I want it to go into rotation soon. But I talk a little bit more about street dates and why that's a problem for toys over other collecting hobbies. Like when you collect in video games, when you collect in comic books, when you collect in magazines, when you collect in music, it is not the same monster. I've got stuff that is processing that its street date, we're going to put that in heavy quotations, its release time was set for June. Well, we're in May, in basically the dead center of it, and now I'm processing material that's meant for June. So stuff that's not even supposed to be here till June is already coming. Stuff that was supposed to be here 2 months ago has been moved to May, and there's no word on it whatsoever. Like, you cannot trust street dates when it comes to toys. You just need to pre-order and understand what you're getting into, because you're either going to wait or it's going to show up, and it's hard to know. It's not like a video game. It's a very different monster to try to figure that out. Kind of like how I didn't even receive a warning. I'm on two watch lists on X where I'm supposed to receive watch list information for some of the McFarlane stuff. And right now, they are already finding Hawkgirl inside of GameStops. And you know she came out. Like there was no warning at all for me. I didn't see her. I check about every other day on stuff like I check about every other day for stuff like on McFarlane, and I didn't know she came out at all. Like, it just basically shadow dropped. Like, you just have to be absolutely on top of your game. You want to get some of these toys, man. Been very busy. Should be finishing ICC after December. Well, good, man. Good. I saw you got a whole bunch of stuff going for you. I've been seeing some of your posts and whatnot. Same goes for Blu-rays. Some things also get and yeah, but I will say that at least with a movie, you have some. I'd say it's more reliable with movies and series than it is with toys. Toys, in terms of everything that I've ever collected, toys is the weirdest. Like, there's just no guarantee on anything. That surprises me. That is the first time Star Wars has won in a long, long time. But because Star Wars won, let's figure out what happens to be in the queue for that. So, okay, I know that I have we have this. We'll label it as this. And we have he'll be interesting if he wins. I very much don't see him winning. Let me debate. He's in rotation. He's in rotation. Okay, let's also put in rotation these two. That'll be interesting. So let's do... We'll add him, and we will add her. And then that's all four, so let's run this as our next possible. I'll put everything over here, and we will be, quote-unquote, off to the races. And I want to go in real quick and see how things are going. Right now, we're just getting started. It's doing okay. We're only three people here right now, but hey, sometimes those are the days. We've had days when we've come in here and we've had a ridiculous amount of people. The most this stream has seen so far, and I'm surprised that it's been this much at all. The most that we've ever seen in a single stream for us so far was 16 people, current viewers. That was the most that we've seen so far. Normally, we get anywhere from 8 to 12 on the regular as we go forward. And that's been pretty good. That's been a pretty stable hit, actually, for us. And I'm actually surprised by that, if you want the truth of it. Hey, what's going on, man? Let me get my other light for when one of these guys wins. We'll put it right there. And I'm hoping this room doesn't get too hot. Yeah, this room is a heat box. It's not exactly the best, and there's not a whole lot that I can do about it, except for like trying to put a fan in here or something like that, and I'm really not trying to do that, but we'll see how that goes. Thoughts on the new Toxic Avenger movie? None. So look, that's not a kick against Toxic Avenger or anything. That's not anything against Toxie. When I was growing up, I watched that movie, and it didn't really have any kind of profound effect on me or anything like that. And then that was it. Like I never, if I'm being perfectly honest, I kind of need to rewatch it as an adult because I seen it when I was a kid. I remember it didn't exactly blow my mind. I didn't stick around to care much for it afterwards, and then that was up. That's what's up. That's all I ever knew. So it's like one of those things that's really it's not like a big thing for me. Though I appreciate the ugly factor of it, because I had some Toxic Avenger toys when I was growing up, and I used to kind of put it alongside my Ninja Turtles, but never really got into the actual thing that is Toxic Avengers. So I'm kind of on the outside of that fandom pretty hardcore, so that trailer could have been anything, and I would have had no real effect one way or another. It's just not a fandom I have any real, talk in. Everywhere you've been is a sweatbox. Look, look, I get it, man. I mean, you know me. I work in a warehouse, and now I work in the worst possible area in the warehouse. Like, it's look, man, my job is not great right now. Just finished your finals? Well, good. It's about time. No, good job, man. Awesome news. Absolutely awesome news. Always happy to see people complete, like, goals. Always moving forward, man. Always. Trailer for the new Toxic Avengers have been mildly gory. So that's a question. When it comes to Toxic Avenger stuff, should it be mildly gory? Is Toxic Avengers one of those things that they should go out of their way to be gross? Like, I mean, because that's kind of what the gimmick of the whole thing was, right? Shouldn't they? I just don't know is that something they should lean into, or is that something that's kind of like, okay, this is the way that it is, but we're not gonna. I'm actually curious about that on a couple of levels as to how crazy they should get with that. I've even had a habit of kind of comparing it alongside when I grew up in the 90s and we had like Mutant League football and whatnot. I've even kind of compared it alongside that before. Really, Darth Vader is winning. That, I've been looking forward to that one, by the way. So if he wins, no complaints whatsoever, because he is cool, man. He is sharp. He is really, really cool. I read the film will be unrated when it premieres in August. That's a good. That could be a good thing, because, well, okay, so that's argumentative. If it's rated, you kind of know what you're going in for. You know if it's going to be a gore fest. You know if it's going to be R. You know if it's going to be rated even X, like, or whatever, where it's just so hardcore. But unrated also means that it's just kind of being released, and you don't know to the extent of what you're getting into. They could still pull back in areas where they probably should have went all the way, because unrated doesn't necessarily mean that it's more raunchy, more bloody, more gory. It really just means exactly what that is, unrated. So I don't know where to think about that. Looks like Vader wins. I'm actually very surprised, because, look, the fact that Star Wars won right off the bat, and Star Wars is not one. We've had a stack of Star Wars for a long time in here that has not moved at all. But since it won, we're going to move that. That goes back into rotation. And I did not expect Lando to win at all, because he is one of the greatest. Man, let me see. Let me say something here. Lando is one of the greatest peg warmers of our era, man. Right there. That's exactly. Have I seen Jedi Darth Vader? I'm curious what you're referencing. Yes, dude, he's the peg warmer of our time. There is not... Look, I put off forever getting Lando, and finally one day I just happened to have the money, and I was in a Target, and I was like, there's 40 of them. It's gonna reach up to... If you want a Lando, you can get him. That is just without a doubt, man. He is everywhere. See, now that's what I was about to bring up, because if he's referencing the white suit Darth Vader, that's not really a Jedi, because that's just him kind of in the process of being saved, and we never really got to see anything about that, really, like how far that goes. All we seen was one panel at the end of the book that told us it's go time, basically. And that's it. And, speaking in which, let's go ahead. Let me move a couple items here. I want to get this back on scene where it's supposed to be, because that's supposed to be right there. And let's go ahead and run the first one then, because we got the votes. Let's do it. And because we're already talking about it, comic book Darth Vader. Yes, this is from the Infinities storyline, where they redid the New Hope, Empire Strikes Back, and Return of the Jedi. Weird things like where Han never actually got his sight back, and different things like that, where Leia actually did actually get trained, and things of that nature. And of course, one scene at the end of the Jedi book features a Darth Vader who did not die. He's not dead. He does basically the same thing, does not die, and at the end of that book, we get a single panel. That panel right there. This white suit Darth Vader. And the sad thing about this is that they never did anything with it. Like, I remember when those books were coming out, I was reading them. I thought they were kind of wild. Even if they did have a little bit of that 90s thing going on, where they're trying to like tell a what if story, but they're also trying to be hardcore for the sake of being hardcore, or edge or whatever. This is kind of a thing of the time for comics at that point. And then at the end of the book, they pull off this hat trick, basically. I'll help. And he comes out, and he's wearing that white suit. And you're like, holy crap, that is cool. And then, nothing. Like, I don't remember reading another book after that point that showed them actually take this in any direction. There's not like a What If Vader series or anything like that that plays up the idea of him actually gaining redemption. Because, and you can think what you want, and I know some people get very mad about the way I view Star Wars, but Anakin, I'm just going to say it, Anakin is kind of a crappy person and a bad person. And then he becomes Vader, which is a crappy person and a bad person. And he does horrific things. And then he tosses a guy down an elevator shaft, basically. And he gets to be a Force ghost. He just gets completely forgiven. And I've never agreed with that end scene. Literally, ever. Even when I was a kid, I was like, didn't he, like, perform horrible atrocities? Isn't he, like, a war criminal? Didn't he murder children? Like, he's just forgiven? He just tosses an old guy? Like, that's it? And I get that the Emperor is a bad dude. And I get that the Emperor manipulates the whole system and everything. But even so, there comes a point when you need a little bit more to redeem your character than tossed the old bad guy. Like, it is one of those things in that movie that I've always kind of been like, okay, well, look, when it comes to Star Wars, we got to take it with a grain of salt. There's good guys, there's bad guys. There's really no in-between realistically. In the movies, there's not. All that gray Jedi stuff, that's an outside of canon. That's another thing, too. I have an old video here that I talk about canon, where I feel how canon actually works. Canon is anything as to where the property makes its home. The property, Star Wars, makes its home on screen. If it happens on the screen, that is canon. If it doesn't, don't talk to me about it. Like, it's not that I don't like extra things. I bought this and I read this, so I like extra things. And I've read a lot of books. But what I'm saying is that if you want to debate something, especially the ethics of the way the movie plays out, bringing a bunch of extra material from novels and things like that, information that was never given to us in the actual context of the continuity, not a thing. Not a thing. You can add your own headcanon and your own extracurricular stuff all you want to make yourself feel a certain way. But in the end, if it is shown on screen, it is a thing. If it is not shown on screen, it is not a thing. Case in point, oftentimes they will do these extra stories. Then something will happen on screen that makes you go, oh, but that extra story that I was reading, then that can't happen. That's because those are extra what if. Everything is an extra what if outside. The expanded universe, it's cool, it's awesome, it's this. But that's what it is. He kills the Emperor. I'm sorry. This is only the beginning. And I'm going to give him something real quick before we open this guy. Just to put it out there, to tell you that 100%, especially by the new continuity that they've laid out for things like lightsabers, this is just the start. He's not a good person yet. That saber right there has not turned white. It is not healed. He's not a better person. It's still red. Because one good deed is not enough to redeem all the things you did that made you who you were. It's going to take a little bit more. You murdered children. Your costume is really cool, though, so let's go ahead and open you. Okay, so this is Darth Vader. If Darth Vader wore white. That is literally it. I mean, that's all he is. But it is an effect, man. Like, you get so used to seeing Vader in that black costume, and you get so used to the idea of what he is, that, like, this small change, this small color change right here, I mean, it's everything you want it to be. Like, this is a really cool concept. The white suit Darth Vader would have been sick. And if I could see this real, like, I wonder if there's somebody that did a cosplay of this, because this is I mean, this is it, man. This is shocking. Small problems. Very small. They're small problems. They're about this big. They're this big problems. Look, I love this, because I knew what it was when I was getting it. I knew that it was going to be white suit Vader. I knew that it was from that comic book. I knew it was a cool what if. I knew that it would be an egregious repaint and nothing more. But, that being said, you know what would have edged this guy out and made him the coolest of all Darth Vaders? If that would have been wired. Can you imagine a wired cape on this dude? Able to just slash and hit and everything and have all this do all the craziness that you want it to do? Can you imagine if this part was wired? I'm asking for a lot, but this is not a single release. This is cool. Like, think about what this is. This is a special figure released in the Black Series from a concept that is basically automatically a deluxe character. Like, automatically. They could have done anything. They could have done anything. Nothing was holding them back. We would have paid the money for White Suit Vader if they'd have said, hey, it's going to cost a little extra. We did wireframe cape. We did wireframe bottom. Hey, it's going to cost a little extra. He's going to come with multiple hands. Like always, trigger finger hand. Stop it. Like, Black Series. Stop it. Just stop. Like, what? I know that it's Star Wars. Stop giving the Jedis trigger finger hands. Unless you want to give me a specific moment. Obi-Wan does use a blaster. Once. That's it. Vader never uses a blaster. Ever. Not even one time on screen ever. If you want to make it have a little more sense, give me that flat hand. Let him block lasers. Where's that? Look, and don't misunderstand, I am not complaining about this guy. I'm literally giving the standard tiny nitpicks that I can give. Because all in all, what this guy is he was about a $30 Vader that I actually got on sale. So I think I paid less than that. And he'll go on the shelf and he'll do exactly what I want him to do. Stand next to the other Vader and be cool. He comes with a red lightsaber, which is more than likely just an exact perfect repack of the one that we already got. But if you wanted to make the argument that he's Jedi now, all they had to do was swap out this color blade, but they didn't do that. And I can't help but feel like that's on purpose. They gave you a red blade, because this is only the beginning of redemption. Only the beginning. It's going to be a while before he actually becomes that good person. Now, that being said, he has a normal hand here. For the most part, it's just a normal lightsaber holding hand, which is fine. And then he has the gun hand for reasons. Like, maybe you could argue that this is like the choking thing that he does. Maybe you could argue something like that. But then I would argue, why are you choking people still? Aren't you supposed to be working on that? You want to maybe not choke a bunch of people? Like, you got a lot to prove, man. You're not helping your situation by choking everybody out with your choke hand. But I'll give it to you. That's a choke hand. You know what? That, I guess. He's still got problems, okay? It's a good thing that Luke is going to be there to kind of watch over him and whatnot, because he's still choking people, all right? But that is White Suit Vader. It's nothing extraordinary. It's not going to blow your mind. It's not going to be the coolest toy you ever put on your shelf. But in all honesty, I knew that going in. And anybody that has collected Star Wars Black Series also knew that going in. And if you didn't, welcome to collecting Star Wars Black Series. Welcome aboard. Oh, but before I go, one thing that I would like to say and give a bit of a bonus to how they handle their arms in the Black Series. In the Black Series, because, so just to put this out here, this Vader has those double knees. Like, they're hidden under this, but he has them. This leg has a ridiculous amount of bend. And that arm, though it is a single joint, that is a lot of bend on that. That's good for a single joint arm, giving him all this round movement and making sure that that little cut is there so that he can get his arm all the way up. That's pretty good. And I'm going to give that to them, because posing some Black Series figures when they only have the single elbows and the single knees, that's a problem sometimes. Now, have I collected a mass of these? I have not. My playlist for Star Wars in terms of collecting the Black Series is slim. I do not buy very many of them, and they have to very blatantly speak to me or mean something directly, or I am not interested. I do not, but I'm saying 90% of the line, I'm blind to it. It just doesn't mean anything to me. But this is really cool. Let me hit the chat, go on and see what people are talking about and doing, because I saw there was some talking. Okay. Good. It's not good. Yes. I noticed that I had a chance. I'm not going to make a promise about this, but depending on my situation, I may be back again sooner than you think, too. I like Infinities a lot since Han fights the Royal Guards. There were some really cool things in Infinities. I kind of wish that was a thing they would have stuck with and kept playing. If Anakin was trained by Qui-Gon, he would... Yes, look, I am an absolute advocate for that. I 100% believe that Qui-Gon would not have made anywhere near the same mistakes and would have created different, like massively different results. I'm Qui-Gon all the way, though. You could call me biased. That is my favorite Jedi of all time. Of all the on-screen depictions that we have ever had, he is my favorite. He feels the most like an honest Jedi over everybody else I saw in the whole lineage. He's my absolute favorite. I love Qui-Gon. And when I opened him, I talked a lot about this too. Qui-Gon's my guy, man. Absolutely. Killed Mace Windu. Yeah, as far as I'm concerned, yeah. Anakin is responsible for that. I didn't argue with the forgiving of Anakin, but I guess the ending of... I guess ending the pure evil man just absolves you of your evil. Can't be more evil than the bad guy. That is dumb, but I'm not... And you look, they got to give you what they got to give you. Star Wars is designed... We're not actually supposed to think that deep about Star Wars. It's absolutely not really supposed to be a thing. It is very much a space opera about heroes. It's a hero's journey opera. That's what it is. There's a good guy. He goes on a journey and becomes a hero. He stops the bad guy. There just happens to be a twist that the bad guy is responsible for stopping said bad guy, and it's kind of a redemption story for that bad guy, but I don't think they do enough to pull off that redemption at the end the way that they do it. kills kids, kills his wife, kills wife by making her so sad she doesn't want to be there for her kids, acts like an ass 99% of the time, but tells his boss to leave his kid alone, and now he's the good guy. You know what? You're kind of spot on. And also, I've often had a theory about how Padme dies, and I think you could argue that on screen it's what we're seeing. I don't know this for sure. I know the dark side of the Force, just like the light side of the Force, which we have seen now on screen, the light side has a healing factor, an ability to pass on your aura onto somebody else, your life force, and kind of give healing. Does the dark side, on film, can you make the argument that it does the same kind of thing in reverse, where it can take life force to maintain oneself? Because Anakin, regardless of strong in the Force, was in a position that should have killed him. His lungs should have collapsed, he should have died. Nobody survives that situation. I know we're talking about a movie, we're talking about Star Wars. But I've often wondered if the fact that we keep seeing Padme, and she seems blatantly connected to him in real time with what is happening to him and what is happening to her, not just like the scenes flipping back and forth. It feels like they are directly connected. Is he sapping her energy, maybe even without knowing, to keep himself alive? And so in the end, as sick as it is, when Palpatine says it seems that in your anger you killed her, and he's like, no, that's impossible. She was alive. I felt it. Maybe you did feel it. Maybe you did, while on the table, feel that she was alive, but without knowing, because you are not trained in the dark side of the Force, and you have ridiculous levels of power, and you are now reaching for life. Could he have killed her by sapping what she had left? I've often wondered if there's an underline to what we were seeing there. So Ranger Slayer doesn't count. Look, I like the Ranger Slayer, but nothing about that comic book is canon. The show is canon because the show is where it makes its home. That's just the way that I view canon. But I don't take away from anybody that wants to enjoy all the extra stuff that exists, because I do too. I just don't view it as seriously as some people view it. Because he stuck it to the tyrant and killed him, but he killed the right person this time around, all is forgiven. All right. He's a good guy, that guy. Let's see. Oh, not if you're... Okay. I was like, what's he talking... But it caught me for a second. Right. My brother cried, now I'm good. Right. Never. Revenge of the Jedi did the same with the red suit. I saw that. And look, that was pretty cool too. That they did him in like that darkish red paint scheme. And look, that's all it is just a repaint. It's a blatant repaint. But there are some characters, like Batman, that sometimes you can just do a blatant repaint and they're iconic enough to get away with it. It just is the way it is. Dude doesn't look heroic. He looks unfinished. They definitely just sent the prototype unpainted figure off to... I mean, look, I'll bet you they saved a lot of money on him. I'll bet you he's just white plastic. But I don't care. That's sharp. That does it for me. That's a very simple change. But because of the history that we have with him, I think it works, man. I really do. And yeah, I didn't even notice that you'd said that, but I guess I did bring that up, and you guys were talking about the same thing. It could be the finger choking hand. Let me set this up real quick before we go too much further. I'll keep doing the things, but I want this set Okay, so Star Wars is out. It just won. So that is currently open. We'll add that in there. We'll do... And we will do... There. Let's rock those out and see what ends up winning, and I will keep going. But yes, absolutely. Baby steps. I could see him doing the choking to subdue opponents non-lethal. It's possible. Hey, man, what's going on? Let's see. Yoda is not an honest Jedi. Obi-Wan, Windu... Listen. In my point of view, I feel that by the time we see the Jedi, by the time we see characters like Mace, Obi-Wan, Yoda, they've become so dogmatic that they have lost the principles that made them Jedi. And while some of them are still holding on for dear life, and Yoda is still very much on the edge, he's very much a good person, losing sight of the Force, because that's part of what happened. They talk about it. We have lost our ability to use the Force. They say that their ability to use the Force has diminished, and their vision is clouded, and they can no longer see the future, and all of their clairvoyancy is going the wayside. And Yoda makes very specific decisions in canon on screen that do not make me feel like he knows what is going on, or has a solid grip of what is going on, or what the Force is specifically asking they do. Case in point, Yoda is the head of the council at the time, and he loans his strength to the Republic to operate the Jedi as generals. Jedi are not soldiers. They're not meant for that kind of life. And in almost every continuity that we have seen that Jedis enter war, they are affected by it negatively. Every single continuity that I can think of where Jedis enter full-blown war, good things do not come out of it for Jedi in general, because they're not supposed to do that. They are not aggressive life people like that. And it would have made more sense for Yoda to have said, because the Republic has more than enough regular people to play general, Yoda could have offered his services to specific missions and then said, we will maintain the peace inside of the Republic as police, as basically what we already are, whilst you handle this situation. And while we will attempt to help in certain ways, we will not take to the forefront and be the quintessential frontline generals of the operation. And had they not made that decision, Order 66 would have never happened. Because it couldn't have happened in the same way at all. Because they would not have been in a situation where they could have been jumped in the way that they were jumped. They never should have been on the forefront like that. And Yoda, as head of the council, as the main Jedi Master, made a lot of those decisions, influenced or not. But that is, in a strange way, part of what I'm talking about. The dogmatic views of the Jedi kind of put them in a situation where they thought themselves able to handle situations that they obviously weren't able to handle, and to make decisions that they obviously shouldn't have been messing around with in the long run at all. It reminds me of a quote I heard somewhere back in the day: we could kill 200 people, but if one guy was a criminal... Back in my day, we could kill 200 people, but if one guy was a criminal, we'd be heroes. Oh, Oh, I think I have actually heard something like that before. Anakin after their midichlorians. Right. Only KOTOR shows lifesteal, so that could be what happens, but since they don't spell it out 100%, and I get that, but I've often wondered if it's open to interpretation in that way. It could have used the energy to save his twins. Oh no, I joked around with save my kids. As a prequels kid, I like Anakin somewhat. He's always been a sort of Greek tragedy sort of hero to me, and I think he's meant to be. But I do think they lean into a couple things that are hard to, Look, man, I don't know about you, but if my hero comes back and tells me that they found their mom and their mom is dead, that is a true tragedy, and then he follows that up by saying, I killed them, all of them, and not just the men, but the women and the children, babies, innocent bystanders that know nothing about the world or their people yet. Slaughter them like animals. And then later, somebody comes and tells me, Anakin has turned to the dark side. And my response is, no, never. He could never. I have seen a security tape of him killing younglings. No, he couldn't possibly. How not? He's done it before. That person, Anakin has always had it there. And the Jedi knew from the beginning that it was there, that there's something inside. It's not just fear. They sensed something, a darkness that lived inside of that boy, buried deep, but it was there. He always had the potential to be a bad person. And there are multiple times on camera, right there on screen, that he was blatantly a bad person. And nobody did anything about it. The signs are there. Regardless of how they pushed him, nurturing him in a certain direction probably could have saved him. But there was always something there. And sadly, he had nothing to pull that back. So it ran wild when it finally got out. What have you missed? Nothing too much. Vader was the first one that we opened, which put us on a conversation in general about how Anakin was always kind of a turd. Yoda held many secrets. Very much so. Probably some that should have blatantly been out in the open, at least to the rest of the council. If Picard's Enterprise encountered the complete Death Star, who would win? I know people are not going to like my answer here. But it's going to be the Enterprise beyond the shadow of a doubt. And it's not even going to be tough. Here's the problem. That Death Star moves slow. And while it often looks like the Enterprise is moving slow, that's a trick of the eye. The Enterprise is big. So when it moves, it is moving very fast. Like, watch it leave the solar system, okay? That's what I'm trying to tell you. Watch the episodes where it blatantly says, like, watch the original Enterprise leave dry dock. And then it starts going, and they're like, exit factor view, and it goes click, and it shows the Earth leaving, and the Earth goes, ooh, because they were moving so fast. That impulse is ridiculously fast. And you're talking about, first off, we already know that the Enterprise, because I love Star Wars, but look, the Enterprise has more powerful technology. The Enterprise cannot destroy a planet outright, but the Enterprise, even in the original series, has General Order, is it General Order 24? General Order 24 is a bombardment of the planet with weapons from a distance that can destroy an entire planet. The Enterprise is capable, by itself, one ship, Constitution class, can circle an M-class planet, lay down fire, boo, 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 and wipe a planet out of existence. General Order 24, they can do it alone. They can decimate an entire planet by themselves, alone. When one planet gets destroyed in Star Wars, it is unbelievable to him when it is brought up to Han, hey, the entire planet's been destroyed. He goes, he says the Empire couldn't destroy the planet. It would take 1,000 ships with more firepower. Not the Enterprise. The Enterprise may leave that planet intact, but everything is dead. It can decimate a planet alone, by itself. Just beep, 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 beep. We're done here. When it came up on a Death Star, first, its scanners would detect what is going on. Then its scanners would detect the level of armament that exists for that Death Star. And we know that lasers, by the way, plasma or otherwise, are not strong enough to actually affect the whole of the Enterprise. We have seen lasers hit the Enterprise before in the Next Generation, and they literally said, word for word, they're using lasers. And he goes, lasers? Yeah, plasma weapons. And then Worf says something about its yield and says, no damage, none. As in, they cannot hurt us at all. Not even in the littlest, tiniest bit. We could stand here all day while they shoot at us and nothing will matter. Which means the turbo lasers that are on that big ship can't hurt them. They cannot do damage. Then, on top of that, the other thing that the Enterprise has going for it is that once it sees it, which it'll see it from very far away, Enterprise is known to detect ships that are 8 hours away at warp. They are at a planet, stopped, and then they get this thing and they go, sir, there's a ship coming into the system. How far? It's about 8 hours. It's about 8 hours away. Really? How fast is it going? Like warp 6. So it'll be here pretty soon in about 8 hours. Those scanners are extreme. They will know what the Death Star is, what it is capable of, what's the armament, how strong it is, and what it's weak to before they ever even get there. Before they ever even get there, they will drop out of warp, come up on it, send one communication. What's going on over here? And then if Palpajerk comes on and he's like, we are the dark side and blah blah, or planetary weapon, and they'll be like, nope, and then they'll just fly this way because the big orb has to turn. It can't fire. It doesn't have a field of range that's very impressive. And even the sicker thing is that there's not a shield unless generated from an outside force. There is no shield around the Death Star. So just like back in Enterprise when they were able to take out the spheres, in Enterprise they were taking out spheres which were the equivalent size, if not larger than the Death Star. So the original series Kirk could just be like, hey, we got a scan on their hull. Yes, we have a scan of the entire ship. It seems like the ship operates by this kind of and then they would explain in real time while we just flew around the Death Star. They would say, we have detected that there's an energy system that requires this kind of yield, blah blah blah, and it seems to be that there's a cascade failure in the system, and they could just say, teleport a torpedo. Teleport a photon torpedo into the middle of that ship and detonate it. And then Scotty could literally be like, woo! And then they just hit the button and it would blow up. And that chain reaction, just like we were able to do with proton torpedoes, there's no chance at all, literally none at all. It is not a thing. I've always thought that. I really don't think that the Enterprise has a problem with the Death Star. I think the Death Star is too large, too clunky, and is more of a scare tactic than anything else, because realistically, not even the rebels really have a hard time taking it out. They didn't exactly have infinite strike force. They sent like 20 guys and got rid of it. And then the next time they went in, they sent a bigger fleet. But you know how many guys took out the Death Star? Like 4. It was like 4 guys. It's literally it. There was maybe 5. I'm trying to remember that movie exactly, but like there's Lando and his little buddy, and then they fly in, and then there's like there's like a Y-wing and an X-wing with them. Is that it? It's like 4 or 5 guys. I don't think it's a problem. I just don't think it's a problem. Ever watched The Mandalorian show? No, not yet. And no real reason, just haven't got around to it yet. That's the only real reason. Jada has 1. So we're going to see about... We got that I know of for sure. We got that I know of for sure. I know he's down there. And I know he's down there. Bam! There we go. Padme, though, she could change Anakin somehow, someday. And it's thought. And see, that's another thing, too. They try to play it off like he's joking when he's talking to Padme, and he blatantly says, they talk about red flags before you get into a relationship. Pay attention! Your politics are not on track with each other. We all get in a room, we discuss the problem, and we try to come to a mutual decision. But sometimes people don't agree. Well, they should be made to. The way he says that, if you are paying attention, that's not a joke. He passes it off as a joke afterwards. After she mistakenly says, "You're teasing me," and he's like, "Oh, I would never tease a senator." But his view on the matter is true. He was always okay with a dictatorial system. He was kind of hoping for it. Like, he doesn't agree with the ideas. Like, he is that person. He's kind of he's that person. I'm sorry. Like, there were warning flags about that kid from very early on. I wanted to ask if you have a favorite R-rated movie turned kids cartoon. That's a really good one. Like, that's a really good question. R-rated movie turned kids cartoon. You could argue Batman fits into that, does it? Was the Tim Burton Batman, was the original one rated R? I feel like when it first came out, it was rated R, and then the rating systems changed and it got a lower rating. Maybe I'm very wrong about that. So I'll hold off on that one. And that wouldn't have been my favorite anyway, in terms of cartoon. It would not be Mortal Kombat, because that show's terrible. And it wouldn't be Street Fighter, because that show was terrible. Well, arguable. There's dumb things I like about that Street Fighter cartoon. You know what? It might be. Most of these are terrible, I think, in all honesty. Hold on. Was Ghostbusters rated R? Because if so, that's my answer. I loved the real Ghostbusters. If Ninja Turtles, which Ninja Turtles don't count, because Ninja Turtles came out after the cartoon, but I'm curious... Maybe it's Conan. Because Conan the Adventurer, I just watched that, and it was way way better than I expected it to be. I thought that I was going to trash that show. Like, when I watched it, I really felt like I was going to trash that show. I thought for sure I was going to laugh at it. And then I got in there and I watched it's like 67 episodes, and I was remarkably impressed that they had taken so much of the Robert-verse, the Robert E. Howard universe, and kind of like squashed it down and made it kid-friendly while still maintaining so many different aspects from it. I'm kind of impressed by that. I've actually never seen the RoboCop cartoon. I only knew that it existed. I mean, the Enterprise and any ship with guns on it can beat the Death Star. Just shoot the exhaust ports. I feel like if the Enterprise stayed and fought, they would have been overrun by TIEs, but the Death Star would have... No, see, I know it sounds like that, and I know that we like to think that... You would think there were a lot of TIE fighters on that thing. Like, you would think there were a lot of TIE fighters on that thing. But really break down that first movie. Think about the canon of it. I don't understand how this is possible, but they did not have a lot of TIE fighters. At all. They didn't. There's no way they did. There's no way. They should, because the size of it, but there's no way. 20-something guys rode up on this thing. Like, it's enough that all the leaders check in. We hear every single guy on comms. We see in a single shot every single ship that they sent. All single fighters. And they were like, we're going to have to take them out ship to ship. And then like, what, maybe 15, 20, 30 TIE fighters go out there? That's it? Like, that's it! Like, that battle should be bigger than it is. But it's not, which makes me wonder what is going on. And if a group of TIE fighters, literally a group of TIE fighters, attacked the Enterprise, even the original series Enterprise had a type of torpedo and a type of phaser that could actually shoot out into the distance, and then they could explode in a radius. They do it in multiple episodes. In fact, in Balance of Terror, they show you what they do is they cover massive areas of space trying to figure out where the cloaked ship is. They fire 3 times, ba-doo, 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 and it hits up here, and this is space, so we're talking about big areas, and it doesn't connect with anything. It's on a timer. It goes out, then it explodes, ka-doo, and it covers this big, wide area. Any TIE fighter in that area is gone. It's gone. And the Enterprise alone, the original Enterprise, if attacked by TIE fighters, could literally lock on in probably the equivalent of 2 seconds, and then could just Pew! And if the TIE fighters are grouped up in that big radius, one blast, there's 20 of them. There's 20 of them. Like, the Enterprise is a weird thing, because in Star Trek, they really don't show you, in the original series, what kind of teeth it has. They explain it. And if you're watching, you know the Enterprise has teeth. It is dangerous. Like I said, General Order 24 is an order given to Starfleet vessels. One Constitution can eliminate a planet. One. That is a level of power that is terrifying. And it also, in the Terran universe, they do the exact same thing. Because in the Mir universe, in the Terran universe, they do the exact same thing. They tell a group, if you do not give us what we want, we will destroy the entire planet, General Order 24. We will round your planet and wipe everything from existence. We'll do it in our next rotation if you don't do something, or if you don't do what we're asking you to do right now. And the only reason those people didn't die is because Kirk switched with Alt Kirk. Otherwise, Alt Kirk would have said, give me my stuff. They just said no, and he just said, wipe them from the galaxy. And they would have passed around one time and said, weep, 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 and decimated the entire planet and made it unlivable. One ship by itself. The Empire cannot do that. We've never seen that on camera. I'm a Star Wars guy, so I'm more like... I'm not saying that you're 100% wrong, but like the Enterprise, I think Star Trek is... Because Star Trek is a slow show, you never get to see how dangerous those ships really are. So the Enterprise is an iron-blooded orphan's Gundam. Laser weaponry doesn't... Okay, sure. That's fine. I'll go with it. That's fine. They don't even need 24. The Death Star, aside from the giant beam of death, only has tiny pew-pew turrets. A Borg cube can barely hold up to the Enterprise without remodulating its shields. That's true, too. Like, aside from the fact that we just didn't know how to fight the Borg, the Enterprise D, the Galaxy class, which, by the way, is not a combat cruiser. It's a scientific exploratory vessel. It's built with teeth. It has power, but it's not even meant for combat. And it can wipe out a Borg cube by itself. It just didn't know how to do it yet. Now, it's true that when the Borg show up, because of the fact that we don't know how to fight them, Wharf 159 is devastating to the Federation. But either way, what you're arguing, I just don't think Star Trek gets shown as to what kind of power they're dealing with realistically oftentimes. Because it's a slow show, so they never really show just how broken these ships actually are. You kind of just got to be listening to what they're talking about and what they're actually capable of. Heck, Cisco contaminates a planet with just 4 torpedoes and makes it unlivable for 50 years. And he's a tiny ship. Their weapons are outrageous. Speaking of, I found this recently. There's an actual Gundam named the USS Stargazer. That's actually cool. The Stargazer Gundam is made for space exploration, has a giant ring on its back, and when flying it looks... That's crazy. What's going on, man? RoboCop. I've never seen it. I know people were watching it. I may have seen like 2 or 3 episodes in passing, but I don't even remember what channel it was on. I think it may have come on when something else was on that I was watching, because I know it was a thing, but I never really got to see it. RoboCop as a kid's show absolutely blew my mind given how violent the first and second movies are. Right, absolutely. Tales from the Crypt technically would be... I forgot that was even a cartoon! I forgot that was even a cartoon, Seth. Like, that completely slipped my mind that was even a thing. That's wild to me. I'd forgotten about that. So it's between DJ and Bison. Okay. Boop. I know. Elect Man never wins. He's been down here for a very long time. Elect Man and Cut Man. And what's really crazy is that before we had problems on the last stream, Cut Man actually was winning. There was a chance that we would have gotten Cut Man last time, but he got screwed because... That's so crazy. He cannot win, man. He cannot win. Let me check this real quick. Looks like we're sitting at 8 viewers. That gives us 4 votes so far, and Bison is currently winning. I won't give it the entire time because some people are probably doing something else while they listen to the cast, not necessarily that they're actually voting. That happens. At this point, I don't think DJ can win because Bison is getting up there. That Bison looks like a really cool figure, though, so I have no problem with the fact that Bison is winning. Bison looks like he's a good character. Now, you voted for Vega? That's good. It's good that you vote for Vega, but I don't have him yet. I'm messing with you because I know exactly what you're referencing, but I seen him. I seen Vega. slash Bison. We'll make arguments however we want. For us over here, it is Vega, so I'm just going to refer to it like that, even though I know exactly what you're saying and I know how confusing that can get. I saw Vega, and he looks great. Like, he looks so good, man. He's got a mask, and it's removable, and he's got his pretty face, because of course he does, and his claw's really good, and he's really tall, too. Like, that Jada figure looks fantastic. That Vega looks like he's going to rock it, man. He's going to be so good. I can't help how much I love what Jada is doing, because Jada is just knocking it out all the time right now. I'm looking forward to Shaggy, by the way. I will not have Scooby, of course, because Wave 1 only really had Shaggy and the monsters, but I got Shaggy, so when I get Shaggy, he's going to have to hang out with Cringer for a while, and they can be scared of things like Modi the Moat Monster. I plan to do some real pictures with those guys, because it is so cool to think that I have that, like, that I have a Shaggy coming. It's so good. Thing about Star Trek is that the power source that powers the ship when they convert power to shields and weapons comes from the same source. That power is beyond nuclear. Yeah, no, right. It's so broken, and people just, but you never get a true display of what that means in show, because it's not an action show. Star Wars is an action show that shows you all the time what the weapons are capable of. They don't just talk about it. Oftentimes, Star Trek is avoiding the use of its power. It talks about what's possible. You came here to fight a madman. Instead, you found a god. Love me some M. Bison. He was my main in console port Street Fighter 2. You know, I also... Dude, the Street Fighter 2 animated movie, so good. So good. That is one of my all-time favorite sit-down single-watch like movie animes. I remember me saying I like M. Bison in a Twitter conversation, and some Japanese guy said, "Me too!" And I showed Bullrock. So what I meant, he said, "That's Vega, you fake Street Fighter fan." No, man, that is a mess. The name changes get messy. Oh, he's right there. Oh, yes. I've been waiting to open this guy, man. This is already turning out to be fantastic. So let's do that. Let's get on this one, shall we? First off, let me move this. You are going to tie up for a second because I need that wind to blow in, but I need you not to blow in my damn face. That kind of messed my lighting up here. Maybe I can offset it by moving my other light over here, because now I have the sun, and the sun is a way better light source than light. It seems like that's working, though. It's dark in the rest of the room, but we don't need to worry about the room. So let's do this, shall we? Let's go. Okay, M. Bison, Jada Toys, fantastic. This I have been waiting for a while. So, because of the way the show has started to work, that we vote in what's being talked about, we've done an awful lot of DC, like back to back DC. And this guy got buried for like a long time. We have not talked about this guy. He's been sitting down there for so long. It's been kind of driving me crazy because I heard so many good things about this, and I'm expecting great things about this. The fact that they've been able to hold their price point the way that they have, even though some of it did go up, their prices have gone up, but I don't think it's gone up in a terrible way. I think it's gone up in a realistic way. This is awesome. Like his size and everything like that. And I still love these boxes, man. You got to give it up to them. So, look. A story about Bison. When I was a kid, I went and I bought, well, I didn't buy, okay? Because that was a little more difficult when I was a kid. You didn't just go buy games as easily as you can now. They were more expensive than I think people tend to remember. But look, we rented Street Fighter 2 for the Super Nintendo, me and a buddy of mine. I'll say his name because if he ever finds this video, he'll know that I'm talking about it. But nobody else would ever be able to know who I'm talking about. My buddy Jesse. For some reason, I kept wanting to say Jason, and I have no idea why. But my buddy Jesse, he got it, and he'd rented it, and we went over to his house. And this was after I'd played in the arcade. I've talked about that story before, like that moment that I walked in the arcade and was just blown away by what I was seeing playing in the corner. So I go to Jesse's house, and I'm like, yes, let's do it. And I'm so excited. Like, I'm so absolutely thrilled. I'm going to hold a Super Nintendo controller. I don't think people get this. Look, I got to do it. I got to say it. Okay, I'm sorry. And if people keep wondering why I keep bringing it up, it's because it's relevant to the stories I tell. I am 41, guys. I'm 41. I existed at the death of the arcades. I was there. I was just young enough to catch the dying trend. I went into the arcades. I spent time there. I played. I put my money in. I lost to people older than me. I ran the circuits. I went mall to mall and tracked down arcades that I could play in. And as the trend was dying, there was this new idea that was coming out. We were starting to see console versions of games that were knocking it out of the park. I mean, if you, and I have no idea how young I noticed most of my metrics say a lot of my audience is around the same age as me, but I have a lot of younger viewers too. And it's because of that I have to think about this sometimes. There's this memory about going to the arcade and playing the game and then feeling like you were playing a worse game when you got back home. Like if you played Arcade Ninja Turtles in the arcade, it was something, man. Then you played Arcade Ninja Turtles on the NES, and it was not the same. It was not the same monster at all. It felt different. It looked different. It was not the same, and you noticed it. There was a different feeling about going to the arcade to play these games. They were superior versions. That is not a thing today. In fact, I would argue that I have found times when I've gone to arcades and played things like Dead or Alive. Like I've found Dead or Alive cabinets in arcades, and I've played, and I've been like, I would rather play this at home. It is literally better on the console. I remember being absolutely floored when we got home and me and my buddy, we had rented this game and we expected it to be okay, but definitely a lesser version. When we put that thing in, to us, in the moment, it was hard to determine whether it was better on the console with the controller or if it was better in the arcade with the joystick. And I realize one could argue that the joystick was better. If you're a serious fighting game person, you may very well make that argument, and I would not argue against you. I get it. But in those moments, when the Super Nintendo was taking hold, man, and when we were young, and all of this was new, and the jump in graphics, because I don't think people know. There's a reason that console generations don't excite people as much as they used to in terms of my age group. You'll often hear guys like me sometimes be like, I can wait. PlayStation 3 to PlayStation 4, it's fine. PlayStation 4 to PlayStation 5, I'll get one when I can. Not that people don't still get excited, but the jump doesn't feel as big. Guys, most of us went from owning an NES to jumping into a Super Nintendo. That difference was unreal. It felt like a new world. And most of us were getting our Super Nintendos and Sega Genesis around the same time. This was very common, which is the reason we all fought about it on the playground. And as to which one was better. When I got this thing home and I played this, it was unreal. I mean, to hold the controller in your hand, to feel like everything worked and there was no downtime in it, like it didn't feel like it lagged, everything was responsive, it fought, we played, it was hardcore, we played round after round after round after round after round. It was unreal, guys. It felt like nothing that I can explain to you. Like, it's one of those things where you had to be there. You really don't know how big of a moment it was to play something like this and to feel like you were getting the exact same experience that you would have gotten, arguably better because you didn't have to spin the quarters. Because when you would go to a place like that and you'd use your own money or you'd ask your parents or whatever for, you know, a $10 bill or whatever, and they'd put it in the machine and they'd get you some stuff, it's just not a thing. It's not a thing. Like, you'd go there and you pump your quarters in and you'd lose extra fast because those games didn't mess around. But then you could go home and you could play infinitely for the entire weekend, uninterrupted, constant battles. And then your buddy would pick this guy. Because I told you I was telling a bison story. You know this show by now, okay? This guy. My buddy picked this guy. And that was one of the youngest moments of Rage Bill I can remember. Because he didn't know any moves, okay? He didn't know Psycho Crusher. He didn't know the move where you jump up and land on the guy's head and then do the slap. He didn't know any moves, but he did discover something. If he ducked and hit the R button over and over again, he'd do this skate kick thing. And this skate kick was like a trip that moved across the screen. And when you're young and you're just starting to learn fighting games and you're just starting to come into your competency of how good you can be at video games, this one devastating, stupid kick would ruin your whole day. I could not beat him with anyone. With anyone. Because I was not yet competent enough to just know how to get around it. I'd try to like jump kick and things like that, but sooner or later he would catch me with the stupid thing. I would try to Hadouken, but you'd do a couple Hadoukens and then you would mess one up and your timing would be off and he'd get in there. Skate kick. And then he'd hit you and you'd go into the trip motion and then he'd just keep skate kicking into you. And every time you tried to get up, every time you just stand up into a skate kick, stand up into a skate kick. And because kids played this way, they would trap you in corners and be like the worst possible sports in the world. Like, it wasn't about like getting good at the game or having good fights. It was about winning. And skate kick would make you win. And he won over and over and over and over until finally I had enough. And I threw the controller across the room, and I told him, if you're going to pick that guy, I'm not even going to play. And he was like, I'm sorry that I'm so much better than you, because kids got to be kids. So, of course, I lost my crap, and I was like, you're not better than me. You're cheating. That guy cheats. He's the boss of the game anyway. You shouldn't even be allowed to pick him. And he's like, well, I can pick whoever I want. It's my house. I can pick who I want. And I was like, then fine, play this game alone. So I remember I left, and then he like came over to my house like an hour or two later, and he was like, "Hey man, dude, I'm sorry." And I was like, "No man, it's fine. I just can't win. It makes me mad that I can't win." And then he says to me, "Well, like after you left, I started trying the actual game. I can't win." And I was like, why? And he was like, dude, it's hard. That skate kick doesn't work. He was getting wrecked by the computer. And so then I went back over there and we spent like literally hours, like the entire weekend, just trying to beat the game. Just like picking guys, and every time I would lose or whatever, I'd pass it off. I'd be like, this guy's cheap. And I didn't realize at the time that guy really was cheap. He was doing cannonballs while walking forward, and you can't do that. That's not the way the move works. But that's not the way it works for the computer. So, like, like, this is one of those things that when I think back on it, guys, like, it was such a time. It was such a moment. And I got this, like, story that comes to mind, like I just told you the story. But, like, it was so much more than that. Like, this was an age, and if you weren't there, you really don't know. It was just a time, man. And I'm sure so many of us have these moments, these exact moments I'm talking about right here. A positive of it. And I think that's one of the things, especially that honestly keeps me on YouTube, is to share these dumb stories. But also I can't help but love figures, and I have to see this guy. Let's open him. All right. Well, first off, there's him, of course. I got a little string here, which I'm going to pull. Okay, wasn't a big deal. That is him right there. It's impressive. Like, it is absolutely impressive. And it's one of those things that just, you can't help but be floored by what Jada is pulling off here. I mean, look at that. We get a full wired cape. And I know that I'm like reviewing this way after everybody else, but these are not reviews. You know that by now if you've been here for a while. Like, I love the way that they do this type of material for this stuff so it doesn't cause any kind of problems. Like, we know that this won't get in your way. These are very much like, it looks like, okay, these somehow go on there. Oh, I think these slide. It seems like I don't want to do anything that was, I think maybe these just pop off. I'm not sure. I mean, I could tell that they're on there, and I can't tell exactly how they come off. I did see that they, let me see this. Oh, look at that. We got instructions. Okay. So it looks like you just push on the back and they come off that easy. Cool. And then you could put the other ones on and then you don't have the cape And that's actually, see, that's so cool. So you got this really good cape. I mean, it's good. This is dynamic if you ever wanted it. You got the normal face right here. Then you got that crazy angry face that he has. I know my camera only does so good on these. We're working on that, by the way, too. I'm working on getting a new camera that will focus a lot better for a lot of these lives that we've been doing. Minor problem. Not a big one. Let me move this real quick. See if we can refocus the lighting. This is cool. Like, it's going to go on his hand. He's going to punch. There's your strong punch. That is cool. But, okay, but it's not as cool as if we would have gotten the Psycho Crusher effect. And I know how big that would have been. Like just a big thing that you would have had to have put around him. And he gets these other two hands, which would have been ideal because he would have put him up like this and then he would have flown across and it would have been cool and everything. This guy moves every bit as good as any other Jada figure. Like, I'm noticing that. There's going to be almost nothing that you can't pull off. And especially if you figure alongside the figure, you're also going to have this, you're also going to have access to the cape, which is going to give you all this sick, like, ability to, like, do things like this. So you can literally do this stupid thing. You could put his arms, you could do this, you could put his feet out. We've got to put him back together real quick. See, you can line his feet out and you could do this. Then he can skate across the stupid thing and he can hit you over and over and over again and there's nothing you could do about it because you're a kid. You can be salty about it for the rest of your life. Wow, he's good, man. He really is. He's got this head movement. See that right there? It's just, I can't help it, man. I don't care. See, that's the thing. And I had a video where I talked about this hobby hate, and I think people took it the wrong way. I'm just telling you, man, that if you're trapped in a moment where your enjoyment level is because you bought a new thing and because you can't buy the next thing, remember what you were collecting from. This is fun, man. This is memories, man. That's what this is. Don't let it be anything else. Like, it's so good just to share your memories, just to have these moments, just to remember what this was. This figure is unreal. Like, he is going to be so good standing on the shelf next to the other Street Fighters. I mean, they couldn't have done better. His paint job is unreal. I mean, overall, he's an absolute masterpiece, man. Am I going to buy the other one? No. I got him in red. That's all I need. That's literally all I need. I've got him with his alternate head and everything like that. I've got him with his alternate pads. They gave me everything that I need. The only way they're going to trick me into buying another Bison is if they go out of their way to release the the Psycho Crusher. If they release a Psycho Crusher, an effect, and it happens to come with a different Bison, that will get me. I will hate that if they do that. But they will also get me if they do that. We've talked about this. Like, all of collecting is heavy FOMO in terms of toys. Toys are built with FOMO because they want you to buy the extra versions over and over and over again, because the extra versions, they want to be able to reuse that mold and sell it and profit and repaint and things like that. Every one of these toy companies is about reuse and getting what they can, the most out of the tooling that they put in. Jade is not stupid. They know that Street Fighter is one of those things that has alternate colors. They know that Street Fighter is one of those things where you might want that specific face. They knew that when they released that specific face with Chun-Li, you were either going to get it or not get it. And they didn't care which one it was necessarily. They want you to get it, but they know that if they're going to get you to buy pink Chun-Li, they're going to add these, and they're going to add the happy face. You didn't get that with the red and the blue Chun-Li. Did you like red? Was that your favorite color on your Chun-Li? Did you like the blue Bison? Did you always play Player 2? Did you always get blue Bison? Look, guys. That's the way it's built. That's the hobby. I'm happy to have him. Like, absolutely. He's added to the shelf. Good deal. Let us go back to the chat and let us fix this, because I was hoping to get the light in here and hoping that would, but really it kind of, the autofocus on the camera does us no favors like that. Makes it look really dark. I did think it worked fine, but like I just deal with the fact that sometimes this is going to blow the curtain. Not, you know what I was saying. Akuma is Goki. I knew that one, yep. To be honest, though, Street Fighter name changes were for the better. Vega sounds Spanish, Bulrog sounds brutish, and M. Bison sounds like a badass general. And yes, I said brutish, not British. I didn't think that was a typo. This time I was pretty sure that wasn't a typo. I thought for sure that was what you were saying exactly. Yeah, but Bison being a boxer worked since he was based off Tyson. Yeah, Mike Bison, I do think they also changed it because legal trouble. They did. Bill, did your light bulb burn out? No, I wanted to see if I could get the sun, but because of the way the camera's set up, the light comes in from this side, and I don't have enough light to alter from this side, and I can't move the ring light in real time behind the camera because it would be a problem to do so. So I can't offset the lighting that comes in through the window, so that's the reason the room went dark like that. Let's see. Perceived legal troubles. I'm the youngest one here, and I still play more at arcade. You might still have the option. Like, I've lived in city areas, and arcades have really been a dead thing. And every time we get one, it doesn't take long for the arcade that we get to die. I mean, it dies. Like, we get it, it lasts maybe a year, everybody gets really into it, everybody goes, and then it just teeters out and it dies. And I mean, they die pretty fast here too. Blast processing. Enough said. Let's get this ready. Doop doop. Okay. That is on the roster. That's on the roster. That just won, so that's out, which puts that back into rotation. Boop. There. Now, let's go back here and see what's going on. Yes, that was the Genesis. Yep, Bill won't read this till after his video for his episode. Yes, absolutely. That's part of these lives, too, is I'm kind of letting people pick the episodes that I make and then cutting them into segments, because if I don't do it this way, it's a lot harder to go into the YouTube and cut it, or a lot harder to go into the live and make the chapter cuts. Like, if I keep my format running, I can make the chapter cuts, and if I can make the chapter cuts, I won't lose anything later when I try to reference things for the annotations. Because I do annotations in almost every single video I put out. Anytime I talk about a story or something that I've already talked about, in any one of my videos that you click on, if you have your annotations turned on, up here in the corners, videos will constantly come up that talk about this was the first He-Man I opened, this was this, and you could literally go down a rabbit hole discussing what it is that I have specifically talked about and how often things have come up or what my specific opinions are. Like when I get to that part where I talk about canon and I make the chapter for this, I will add my canon debate into the annotations, and if you want to know about that, then when that video comes out for the chapters, you could watch that and click the annotation and immediately... I try to annotate every single one of my videos to fall back so that I never lose track of the things that I'm referencing. You mean like how I can only play Killer Instinct with Cinder because I could just keep hitting forward punch to killer combo you to death. So, I was good with Cinder. And not just that cheap thing where you're talking about where you can do the killer combo. I knew his ultras. Like, I was good with Cinder. Like, stupid good. And one day we set everything up in Hardee's. That's actually, this is so ridiculous. Lived in such a small area. There was so nothing going on that we would hang out at Hardee's. And I knew the lady that owned it, like owned that particular Hardee's. She was not just like the manager, she was the actual franchisee owner. Well, because I knew her and she knew us, and I actually did some yard work for her here and there, which is how I knew who she was in the first place. So, one point in time, we go down there and I tell her, hey, we just bought some sodas, we're going to eat lunch, and if it's okay with you, I'm going to take my computer back there and we're going to play some video games. And she was like, oh yeah, that's fine, because they had like this little party room in the back. So we would go back there and we set it up, and we set the computer up and everything. We get the emulators up and we're playing like Super Nintendo games and whatnot. And Shane is like, we're thinking about playing games, and he says, I don't want to play that game. I really don't want to play Killer Instinct. I'm not very good at it. And I say, because I can't not do it. I say, well, then you're in luck, because most of us here, including me, don't really get to play this game very often, so it's not like we're experts either. So he goes, okay, all right, no, yeah, that's fine. We pass the controller a little bit, try a couple characters. I pick Cinder. And I'm like, all right, Shane, here we go. The fight starts. He comes in, and I immediately start laying it down. Just... And he's sitting there stupid. Like, he's like, what is going on? He's trying to hit buttons, and I just whopped him. And at the end, I'm like, bow, and I do that uppercut, and he goes, Ultra! 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 And he hits the ground. Doom! And then it tells him, like, 58% of your life. And he just, he just tosses the controller. Oh yeah, I'm not very good at... Man, screw you. And he's right. He's right. I was wrong for doing that. But man, if that wasn't one of the greatest moments, just absolutely smashing him in that one moment to get that response, man. Oh, the earlier arcades of Get Good. Dude, it really was. You'd put your quarter on that cabinet, and then somebody would take it from you. You wouldn't even get like... the fight would start, and they'd wreck you in less than 30 seconds, and there went your money, and you were done. And these guys were, like, good. These guys that, like, went to the arcade regularly and played, and you were, like, young. You were only, like, 10 or 12 or something like that. They would smash you. You didn't have a chance. Here's how weird my place is. I only found out that the consoles were called NES, SNES, Genesis when I was 13. Since we got stuff straight from Asia, including game ROMs, I just knew it was the Famicom, Super Famicom, and Mega Drive. My dad didn't know Resident Evil, but he knew Biohazard. And I get that. I very much do, because, yeah, it's like we use different names and stuff here for different things. Street Fighter 2 was my childhood. I remember every morning before going to school, me and my dad playing a quick round. He also beat me, but I didn't care because the game was fun. Dude, I got very good at it. Like, after it was done, I got really good at it. I ended up going back to Street Fighter later on. This was late teens, entering early 20s, I think. I got super, super stupid good. Because I went and got the game, and I was playing the Street Fighter version that was released on the PlayStation 2 for the anniversary, like the Ultimate Edition. And I started playing that, and I started getting so good maining Cammy that I ended up going to, there were college tournaments that were held here, and I actually started winning money at those tournaments. And then I took a state qualifying tournament through that college, and I ranked like 14th out of like something like, it was something like 400 or 500 members that were playing. I ranked like 14th in the division with Cammy specifically. I got stupid good at that game. Like, I was really, really good at that point in time. It's one of those few games that I can brag about. I don't have a lot of those where like I will absolutely smash you, but the original Street Fighter 2, like when they added Cammy, like that was my moment. I'm not allowed to play Street Fighter because Bill is so good at the game that I get mad that he kills me while screwing around. That's exactly what I'm talking about. And no, I do not spam my moves till victory. I'm good at that game. No, he's played every version of Street Fighter 2 on the highest difficulty so much that he knows every character, even how to do. Yes. Yeah, like, I don't know why, but Street Fighter was one of those games I got remarkably good at, along with Dead or Alive. Those are my two games, or three games, that I can claim to be nearly unbeatable. Like, you will have a very hard time fighting me in Street Fighter, original 2, like the old games, not the newer ones. Or you will have a hard time fighting me in any Dead or Alive, or you will have an impossible time racing me on Rock and Roll Racing. We have the cheap rule. You do a move 3 times in a row, the group can call cheap. And yes, yeah, we do. We set that up to specifically stop things like corner trapping and whatnot for our own benefit. We have a house rule that if you get caught corner trapping and doing like the same cheap attacks like 3 times in a row where you're just kind of like trapping a guy in a loop, we'll call that on you, and you basically, you're passing the controller. You won. You didn't win because you were good. You win because you found a stupid juggling loophole. Yesterday, the Silver Age Superman came back in stock on GameStop for like an hour. I happened to see purely by chance and snagged him, sold out quickly. Classic Superman? Oh, Silver Age Superman. Oh, so you bought that one? Oh, man. Absolutely good deal, man. That is great news. He's a good figure. Like, the more time I'm spending with him, the more I'm liking him. He is good. He works, man. Just got a notification. My Maximum Spider-Man has shipped. Should be out for delivery tomorrow. Hold on. We're gonna real time check this, just in case. Nope, not for Bill. Not for Bill. But like I said, strangely enough, my Hulk is processing. I got the email that said they're processing my Hulk. Spider-Man? Crickets. I cannot get that figure. I even posted here on YouTube just like one of those things. I was like, guys, I don't know what's going on. but I'm not getting Spider-Man. Like, that, it's not happening. It's taking a very, very, very long time. And my pre-order isn't canceled. I haven't even got like a notice like, hey, sorry about the pre-order. Like, nothing. Just crickets. Just, I go in and I look and it says, this is pre-ordered. And I'm like, okay. And then today they're like, we're processing Hulk right now. I'm like, what? What? Why? Thoughts on the Dark Leo from Holothon NECA today coming out? I don't know. Let me see it. Come on, load up. No, not Nexa. Stupid phone. Oh! Oh, okay, okay. No, I do know what Dark Leo is. Oh, all right. Look, it's neat that they're even digging this deep. The fact that we're even going to get one is wild. Am I going to do anything with it? No. I might be at a point where Turtles is an incredibly hard sell for me. And I've talked about my Turtle rules before. I stick pretty hardcore to those, especially right now when my money's getting really tight, because I just fixed an $800 hole in my ceiling. So I'm a little tight on cash right now, is what I'm saying. So it's definitely not something I'm going to be getting, but it's crazy that it's even happening. I think the Superman would have sold out even faster, but I think not many people knew about it, which is why it lasted an hour. And sometimes that happens. They'll shadow drop those things. They just silent drops. They won't even mention it. You just have to get lucky and know that it's there, or like be following somebody that can let you know about it. Not everyone knew about the restock. Oh man, that's crazy, Bill. And yeah, I got the email for my Max Hulk too. Yeah, see? And it's blowing my mind. I'm going to get Max Hulk way before I get that Spider-Man. That Spider-Man is he's gonna go the distance, man. I thought the silence was your thought. No, I was like, I have to see this, because I was like, do I know what that is? I feel like that's Leonardo with belt buckles, and then he wore the thing, but I could be wrong. The multiverse has definitely won. We held that off for a minute, so this will be an interesting one. Well, let's lay this out here. And yes, option 1 is a real thing, okay? Just so you're aware, that is the only reason it was bought. It is there. Let's also do... I know that I have him. What do we got? Oh, okay. Or, there we go. That is literally what our DC is down to, because we've been doing DC like crazy. All that you missed is that we were talking about a lot of stuff. I looked up Dark Leo because I got asked about it, and now we're voting on what's actually about to be open. By the time he gets to you, Bill, he's going to pull it to my back. Dude, I know. One of the head sculpts for Maximum Hulk is totally 90s Hulk. I know there were some people that were really mad about those head sculpts. I saw a lot of people complaining about them. But I'm going to be honest with you. While it's cool to have multiple expressions, and it is, okay? It's cool to have like the figure that's yelling, and the figure that's like stern, and the figure that's happy, and like you get the 3 or 4 different things. But here's the thing. Most of the time, when you get a figure, or when you look at comic books, most people do bodies about the same. Most of the time, that's not too much of an issue. You want the Hulk? There he is. Big buff dude. But the thing that I find interesting, if we keep doing this with the Maximum series, and one could argue that we didn't do it with Spider-Man, so maybe this is not going to be a thing, it's going to be a Hulk thing, but I would argue that just like what they did for Black Widow, and I know that's not Maximum, I'm making an argument here for something in general, that Black Widow comes with 3 heads, and all of them are for different eras and art styles of Black Widow. And that's awesome. Because depending on what era you like, there it is. The Hulk is kind of the same way. They went with 3 very different looking Hulk heads, which create the effect of 3 different definitive artists and eras in Hulk. And you could pick the one that you like. I kind of love this. Like, think of the different ways that we've seen a character look like Tony Stark. It would be cool to get the Iron Man armor and then 2 or 3 Tony Stark heads that look different in terms of an artistic design, not just one he's smiling, one he's yelling, one he's serious, one he's goofing around. Like, those are fine, but different eras and artist depictions, for some of these characters, that's the best idea you could ever have. Like, it really sells it. I honestly believe this is a good idea. And I think that doing the multiple head sculpts from different generations and different styles really adds to what you're getting. In fact, one could argue Mondo was on board with that too, because remember when we looked at Tila, they gave her the original Tila head, and then they gave her a variant head that was kind of like the 2000X series. And for what it's worth, it works. Because we like the idea of putting the one that identifies, the one that we identify with, on the shelf. There is a look, an artist, a design that spoke to us. And that's the one we want. And sometimes it's cool to think that regardless of the one you buy, you can get the one you want. I got to applaud them for that. Regardless of how many people don't like that Hulk idea, I think it's a good idea. I think they knocked it out of the park with that concept. It reminds me of the 90s Hulk toy line. Has Marvel Legends ever done the Spider-Man the Animated Series Tony Stark yet? I thought they did War Machine. Like, I seem to remember that definitely being a thing, that there was War Machine. Animated version. Didn't he come in one of those boxes, like those dual packs? I feel like that is on the market. Animated series Tony Stark? I don't know if we've seen that. I would not be the right person to ask, if we're being perfectly honest, because I don't really, like, I don't buy Iron Man and I don't really follow Tony Stark. But it's a very good possibility that they haven't done him yet, because I'm not picturing it in my head, but I definitely seem to remember getting the War Machine. I'm crazy excited for the Max Hulk fig. Pre-ordered it day 1. Same here. I did too, man. Absolutely. Yeah, the big teeth Hulk head is based on Mike Deodato's. I probably said that very wrong, and I apologize. Art. The grinning Hulk head is based on Dale Keown art, and the angry screaming head is based on the art of Ed McGuinness. See, I like that idea. I think that's brilliant. I think that's the way to do it. I really think that's cool, because there are some characters where, like, just having a scowling face is fine, But, like, who are the people on the poll? Well, the people on the poll is a chair. Literally, a chair. That's what it is, guys. I only bought it because there's a chair. And I don't care a thing for the rest of it. I bought a chair. The other one is Our Man. He's a JSA guy. And the last one, Necron, is technically the Black Lantern. You get the idea. He's pretty much the thing that creates the Black Lantern rings and sends them out and everything. He is one of the main events of the Blackest Night. Well, it's definitely not a Warhammer thing. Not here. It's not. I have little to zero association at all with that. So, because it looks like we've got 6 people currently watching, 6 votes. The votes are done. Our Man wins. That is fine with me. Whoop. Our Man. This is unreal. Our Man. He'll be an interesting one to explain. Let's do it. Our Man. DC Multiverse, McFarlane Toys. There he is. Back to the stupid capes. But when was I ever going to get an Iron Man? I can have an Iron Man. Our Man. Guys. This figure irritates me and is exciting at the same time. JSA, I love the JSA. This was going to be so good. Simple figure, easy design, big yellow cloak with wireframe. It was going to be perfect. Instead, we went back to the rubber capes. I'm not a fan of that at all. I don't like that. We're definitely probably going to look. But this is one of those things that I'd said, I'm not going to get him. Then I was at Target. And you can call this FOMO. I wouldn't necessarily argue with you. But there's an argument to be made here as to why I did this that goes beyond FOMO. Even though one could definitely argue. I got there. There are only literally 2 figures on the shelf. In all of Target. 2 figures. In terms of DC. One of them is the 2-pack of Superman that they cannot sell. Superman and Ultraman. They just can't sell that stupid thing. One of them is Our Man. And I'm looking at him. And I'm like, Our Man. I love the JSA. I think that's so cool. Stupid cape. But then the more I look at him, I start asking myself very real questions. How long will it be before you ever get an Our Man again? I mean, realistically, when's the next time we're going to get a Jay Garrick, an Alan Scott? When's the next time we're going to get Hands? Like, you think Wildcats gonna come out in the Mattel run, Wave 2, Wave 3? It's not that I'm against the idea that it's going back to Mattel. I'm kind of excited to see what they're going to do. But I'm also not oblivious to the fact that we're going to have to go through this whole thing again. And if you've been in DC like I have, and I've been collecting for many, many years now, this is like the 4th time we've started over. Every time they come out, it's a bit of a different scale. Every time they come out, they want to put their own idea to it. And that's not a bad thing. It keeps it interesting. But it also kind of guarantees that everything that you bought on your last go-around is now pointless. It's dead weight. It does nothing for you. It's not going to mend well with a lot of the other things on your shelf. You want 6-inch figures. You want 7-inch figures. You want, or like those new ones that just came out. I can't remember. Was it Beast Kingdom? They're like 8 inches. They're like big figures, but they look fantastic. But like, who are they going to go with? They're too big for this even. And even this, I was out of this for a long time because they didn't mend well with anything on my shelf. So it took me a long time to even jump into the McFarlane stuff. And then I jumped in and then I was like, you know what? Let's go for it. They're decent enough figures. They're at a decent price point. They're improving all the time. Let's get some DC. And for what it's worth, I've been very happy with what I've got. I can complain here and there, but if I'm being perfectly honest about it, it really doesn't bother me that much. So I start getting them. And so I'm sitting there thinking about all of this. When it hits me, Bill, it's one thing to pass up most of this line because you know it's dying and you know that it's not going to go with the next line that comes out, and you really don't, this is a line that's going to stand alone, and so whatever, right? But JSA is a deep dive. There are people that don't even know the JSA is a thing. And I know how that sounds to people that are like into comic books. What? Everybody knows. No, they don't. They don't. Guys, I work in a field where I deal with a lot of people all the time. And you could call them a lot of regular people. People that are older than me, my age, and younger. And they're not like toy collectors and they're not like comic book readers, but some of them, they'll be like, oh, like a couple of them actually watch my show. And they'll be like, who's that guy that you got? What is that? And I'll tell them, oh, well, Wildcat is part of the JSA. And they're like, what is that? Like another Justice League? They don't know. Because the Justice Society of America is so long ago. And even when it was brought back, it wasn't brought back into the absolute mainstream. There are people that read comic books direct that do not know. Like they have a general concept that there used to be something else, but not any of the characters. So if you're talking about a deep dive, are we going to get this guy again? I'm sorry, I don't see it happening. So I said to myself, if it's JSA, bite the bullet. Because chances are when you go to the next wave of DC and start a whole collection all over again for like the 5th time, you're not getting this. So I bought him. I bought this superhero. See, kids, if you want to be a hero, the options are open for you. Be yourself. Be a good person. Do right. Take drugs. Oops. I mean, well, more like a formula that was created, you know, like, it's drugs. It's drugs, you know. As crazy as this is going to sound, this guy created a formula. And when he takes it, it's basically drugs. Guys, that's what it is. It's a performance enhancer. We'll compare it to steroids, I guess. When he takes some steroids, he gains super strength and super durability on an extreme level for 1 hour. So he sees evil, and then he gets his hourglass, and then he flips it and takes his drugs, and then gets superpowers, and has it pretty much down to a science that he's going to get about an hour out of it. So, you know, drugs? Like, there's no other way to explain what was going on. Guys, that's what it was. That's what he did. I'll bet you it probably says something on his card. Because if I'm remembering right, and I'm pretty sure I am, that's what was going on here. Let's open him. Wow. Stupid cape. So, his cape is always in motion. He will always have the wind blowing. He will never just stand normal. It's fairly malleable. It looks like it's glued into a peg on his back. And it looks like his head is, because like this is a pretty malleable material. I wonder if I got in there, I don't know how much skill it would take. Probably not a lot, to be fair. I have a feeling I could rip this cape off. It would take me time to do it. And I would have to be careful how I went about it. But I think I could rip that cape off. And I could probably make his cape. It can't be that hard. And if I can't do it, I know somebody that can do it for me. Our man gets a trigger finger hand for if drugs don't work, I guess he'll just shoot you. And a punching hand for when drugs work, you don't want none of this. Because he has super drug punching powers. Look, guys, I'm going to look at that card. I am almost 100% sure that I am right, that I'm telling you exactly what I remember here. Rex Tyler. Several heroes have taken the codename Our Man. So this is Rex Tyler, which I believe is the first one of them. He's like from the original comic books. And then I think he's one of those things that he's kind of like a mantle that's got passed down through other people. Kind of like Commander Steel. Yeah, that because we had that talk about that in the Commander Steel video. The first was brilliant chemist Rex Tyler. So yeah, who invented a vitamin that he called Miraclu. It gave Rex superpowers, but only for 1 hour. Donning a distinctive caped and hooded costume, Rex was a founding member of the Justice Society of America. Unfortunately, this is gold. I couldn't have wrote this better. Unfortunately, he became addicted to Miraclo and was unable to develop a non-addictive version. Rex was almost killed by a time-warping villain, Extant, during Zero Hour, but Android Hour Man Matthew Tyler switched places and saved him. Druggy superhero man. Our man. Superpowers from a addictive vitamin, which is so addictive that it's dangerous for you and you can't get off of it. You're a role model. You really show them people what it means to be a hero. You're look, guys, he's JSA. He's goofy. He's of his time. But he is kind of a serious contextual idea as well. If you had the chance to be a superhero, how many of us wouldn't take it, right? There's this idea, if I offered you superpowers, how many of us wouldn't take it? He found a way to do it. But then his vitamin did him no favors. He became an addict and couldn't get off of it. And because there's no other way to develop the serum or vitamin that is safe, it is an addictive substance that gives him unbelievable powers. He can't get off of it. He can't save himself. There is some interesting commentary behind this guy. And I was pretty sure I remembered that. When I started the video, I was like, I'm pretty sure I remember this guy's like a drug addict. His superpowers is addict. But I don't care. I knew he was JSA. I knew that I'd seen him in multiple books. I knew that I kind of remembered that whole situation. And I wanted him. And here he is. And so, am I really going to complain? They could have made him better. I think that I can fix him. He doesn't need to come with a flight stand, so we don't need to have that argument. He's fine. And for what it's worth, he moves like every other McFarlane figure. He'll do just fine, especially for the era that he's supposed to be from. If he just needs to run and punch somebody and jump up into the air with his Superman punch here, he'll look just fine kind of doing it, and we'll be fine with it. Bow! He's going to do everything I need him to do. He didn't need to be anything more than this. And that's something that's cool about JSA figures in general is JSA stuff is from a time when superheroes were so much more simple that you don't really expect or need too much out of them. You just need them. That's fine. Yeah, he's added to the shelf. Not going to complain. Awesome. Now, couple of things here. I have to let the dogs out, but we are going to start the run for the next line, and then when I come back, I'll check the chat. So first off, let me get all these tab things, put them over here, and then we are going to have oops, there. Okay, so, that's fine. You know what? We'll add that. We'll put him on there. And for the sake of, there. So let me start that pull. Bam. And then let me let these dogs out. And I will be right back. Okay. Now let's see what is going on chat-wise. How does he look like that again? I'm not sure what your question is, really. Still should have been Chair that won. I'm not big on McFarlane, not a fan of 7-inch. Can't wait for Mattel to do DC. And, you know, like I said, it's something that I'm kind of looking forward to, too. But there's something to be said for everybody that's gotten Marvel Legends for like 20 years. The president from my country once dressed up as a black-yellow superhero, Captain Libertarian, for his campaign. He looked so bad. This Hour Man reminds me so much of him. I'm dying of cringe. Good. Where's the hour part? Dude looks like if Dr. Doom did a cheap cosplay of the Bumblebee man from Simpsons. What are you talking about? It's right there. He's got a little hourglass. Takes some drugs and then he has an hour to whop. I hope Mattel doesn't just re-release some of their old figures like horrible Batman 66, Joker. He looks nothing like Cesar Romero. Now, that's something that has been scaring me about this whole thing. Right now, we are in an age where these companies are like re-releasing a bunch of figures to grab nostalgia. And that's fine for what it's worth. It is kind of cool to think like, oh, hey, here's like the Playmates Ninja Turtles, go buy them. So I know there's a market for it, and I know there's a large market for it, but like, I didn't like almost any of those figures. Like, it was just in a time when I didn't like the way figures were being done. So like, if they re-release a whole bunch of those figures, I guess I'll be saving some money. I saw the hourglass. Wow, even Clock King is more badass. This guy's an alarm clock for it. Wait, so Hour Man is just a ripoff of Snowflame, the cocaine-powered supervillain? Makes him even more lame. How dare he steal from the greatest bad guy? Then again, Captain America got powers from a serum, which I honestly just feel was heroin under a different name. Well, it definitely lasted a lot longer than heroin, so I mean that's very different. Whatever the serum was, it's a complete genetic modification. Time juice. If you got the time, then you can. If you got the time, then you can't fight crime. Oh, man. It's great. Let's see. Where are we? What? Okay, that I wasn't expecting. I haven't seen Motu winning in a long time here. I get McFarlane doing Batman 66 because he is putting in the effort and getting the likeness right for the most of the Mattel. Getting the likeness rights for most of them. Mattel doesn't put that effort in unless it's WWE. But I will say, seeing what they've done with WWE makes me feel like there's a very real chance that they could knock these superheroes out of the park. You could see some really, really good stuff coming our way if we're lucky. But this is going to be divisive for a while. And it's because we have nothing to go on. They haven't shown us anything. They haven't even talked about what they want to do or what the first line is going to be or whether it's going to be targeted for adults or whether it's going to be more like toys. Do they want to get into action figures for like toys? Because look, Hasbro sold the Power Rangers license. And then Playmates got it. And Playmates is making toys. Is that bad? No, not necessarily. But it's very blatantly not what we were going off of. When the Power Rangers license existed at Hasbro, we knew we were getting adult collection action figures. We knew that's what they were. This new stuff that's coming out is not that. It's not even close to that. It's not even comparable. Not even in the same ballpark. It's very much like most of the rest of Playmate's stuff. Toys. Toys that are specifically meant for a younger audience. Is that bad? There's an argument to be made that it is bad. It's fine in terms of toys should be for kids. There's nothing wrong with that. You should always have, alongside the adult collector material, toys for kids. I'm not arguing that. But Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. If you are making Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, those are for adults. You cannot convince me that the nostalgia exists for kids under 10 years old to be in love with Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. It's not a thing. You're selling a product that is directly linked to a time that we remember, not them. And if they do choose a favorite Rangers, doubtful it will be the original show over shows that will more relate to them and their interests and likes and desires in general. It's a completely different generation. Because that Masterverse movie He-Man looked nothing like Dolph Lundgren. I've often wondered if they don't have the rights to that or something. Because a lot of the other figures that they did look fantastic. They got the likeness for most every single thing. Revelation's art style captured 100% perfect in plastic. And then somehow they went on to the movie stuff, which I know they can do, but they didn't. And there's weirdness to that. I'm really wondering if somehow they didn't get his likeness rights. Because they seem to get Evelyn's likeness rights. Because she looks pretty good. So what happened? I'm really truly curious what happened. I'm not interested in the new Superman movie, especially this really unique Ultraman guy. Oh, I'm interested in the new Superman movie, especially this really unique Ultraman guy. I'm not sure if I missed something. This is interesting. So, okay, so we're gonna have to do a breaker. So we have bam. Let's figure out that real quick. It seems very fan-friendly. I think maybe Mattel truly didn't think likeness would be such a big deal, and that's why the others look way better. I don't know. I don't know. I'm really I don't know. That's it just seems weird to me because like Mattel couldn't be that blind. Like the guys that are running Motu right now, they're really pulling off some absolute bangers. Like I've seen people that get mad, but also I can't help but notice that people just like to be mad. Like, and they like to find reasons to complain because I could tell you right now, as far as I'm concerned, Masterverse is a solid line all the way. And I can't help but wonder if something was going on. Did they... You know what he looks like? If you ever read the comic book where movie He-Man is in the like the Motu, like basically the Motu verse, he looks like that. He looks like that movie He-Man. He doesn't look like movie He-Man, which is weird that they would choose to go that way. But then they also released He Skeletor, which is also from that comic. I don't know. It's really weird. Got my Jada Tony the Tiger today. Highest recommendation. He came with a bowl of cereal, I saw. I was seeing people post pictures of him today. Bowl of cereal. I wasn't expecting that. Okay, all right. So Jada won. So let's... Really? Okay. So that is up. He is up. And you know, it's actually starting to get to a point where some of these lines are starting to run out of they're starting to run out. Like they're getting low, dangerously low, to the point where we can't even do the 4 anymore. It comes down to money. At the end of the day, these are celebrities, and if they are going to loan out their likeness for a product, they are going to want a significant chunk of profits. So you think I mean, it could be something that simple, like maybe Dolph wanted too much money and it wouldn't have been worth it. But then we've watched Mattel go out of their way to get license for some people that, like, they've gotten Bill Murray likenesses. And I know that costs real money. And they did it for their Ghostbusters Plasma series, and they did it multiple times. So, like, I don't know. They are. Dude, Jada is so good. Oh. Cutman is finally winning. Cutman may actually finally make the cut. I'm sorry, I apologize. Yeah, guys. Oh, stretching here. Oh. This might be the last figure for the night. Not just because I have to go and I have to get my wife and everything, but I'm forced again, so I'll be up at friggin' 4:35 a.m. getting my stuff ready. Go to work the entire day. There's a lot to it too right now. Like, I mean, I talk about it sometimes in here, but like I work logistics in a warehouse and I work physical labor. I'm walking, I'm moving, I'm lifting, I'm crouching, I am on my feet literally the entire day, and it is all physical labor. Like everything that I do is high physical labor, not like, I mean, it's just what it is. I work in a division where everything is lifting, like 40, 50-pound tubes, and I lift them up, and then I put them in boxes, and then I move things, and I put things back onto shelves, and then I work the elevators and things like that. I don't have any automation that picks for me or does anything for me, and I work in a heavy area. So everything I do is heavy, and when it's hot outside, whatever degree it is outside, take relatively 10 degrees maybe, and this is argumentative depending on where you are in the building. It can either be 10 degrees cooler or 10 degrees hotter than it is outside. And that is what you're working in, period. When it is -5, it is relatively about the exact same level of cold, especially if you're on the docks, or it's the littlest bit better, and maybe it's 5 degrees. And that's what you're working in. And when it's 91, which it was here about a day ago, my area by the thermostat thing that was hanging up, because we got one of those little, I'm talking about, that was saying that it was about 94. So when it's hot, it's hot. And that's the kind of job that I've done my whole life. Fun. Gonna cut his way out. Let's hope he doesn't cut the stream like last. He really did, man. Let's see. Right now, we are at 6 votes. Let me check what my metrics are saying. Well, we've only got 6 people hanging out, at least by the metrics that I'm looking at. So, we're going to call it. Cutman has finally made the cut. It took him a long time to do that. So, is this him right here? That's him. There's Cutman. So we're gonna do Cutman, and then I'm gonna get out of here, and hopefully, at least for the littlest bit, so I can kind of wind down. Probably gonna play a little bit of that Mass Effect Legacy Edition because I started playing that a couple days ago. It's nice to finally have some games to play. And then we'll see what happens tomorrow. I really don't know. It depends on how knocked out I am, whether or not I come back in here or if I just kind of start editing. But there's a very real possibility I could be in here Saturday, if not Sunday, and we'll see how that's going to go. So, yeah, this is going to be wild if Seth kicked out and then literally he's been waiting for Cutman and then Cutman happened. That would be something. Oh, I cannot shoot him. I will talk about that. Absolutely. Okay. Cutman. Finally. He has been sitting down there for a long time. And since my show is 30% I pick, like if something comes in and it's a figure that I just cannot wait for, I will do a main episode for it so that I can get it opened and get it going. Because I want it. Like, I cannot wait or take the chance. And then some of the stuff, like literally probably, like, we're going to say 80, 90%, somewhere in there, is stuff that is up for vote. This guy got passed by over and over and over and over and over. And I have had him. I bought him day one. Day one. He sat here since then. So if you know how long he's been out, you know what I'm talking about. Guys, a couple things about Cutman. One, I love Mega Man for what it's worth. So let's just put that out there. I go by the call sign ReploidBill. That is a direct Mega Man reference. I have beat every single Mega Man game that I have ever honestly played. I beat all the Mega Man games except for the newest Mega Man game. I haven't had a chance with it yet. I played it in passing and beat, like, I think 3 of the Robot Masters, and haven't had a chance to really sit down and play that one yet. But I know that I can and will beat it when I finally do so. Otherwise, I've beat every single one of them and every single Mega Man X game. This is a huge thing for me. I've always loved Mega Man. Back in Mega Man 1, this was the guy I always took out first. Even since I was a little kid, he was the guy I always went after first. I turned on the game, went after Cutman, took him out, that was it. And he happens to be one of my friend's favorite characters in all of Mega Man. So years ago, we used to do Reploid Productions, and there was a person on there, one of our anchors, I'll call him, he went by the call sign Kage. His favorite Robot Master is Cutman. Also, years ago, we were playing Mega Man. We were playing Mega Man X. We were playing Mega Man X 7. You know, sometimes I see people complain. Mega Man 1 through 6 is great. Mega Man 7 is terrible. You're wrong. You're wrong. I will play Mega Man 7 over and over and over and over. I will play most every Mega Man X repeatedly. Mega Man X7 is trash. It is the worst main series game in all of Mega Man. All of it. It's trash. It's absolute trash. And it has a character in it, which they add. And remove X. Mega Man is not a playable character at the start of the game. Because instead, you get Axel. Nobody wants to be Axel. Axel doesn't want to be Axel. Axel is trash. Like, oh my gosh. But we're playing this game. And it's not going well. Like, it is easily the one that I am not liking the most out of everyone that we have ever played. But we're rocking it out. We're doing what we're doing. It's me and a couple buddies, and we're running through the games. We're playing that game, and we're constantly hearing Axel transform. Stupid character. And I remember we come across a Wily door. Now, for those of you that already know, and you just like, you looked it up or whatever, like, we come across a Wily door. And this was one of those moments where we hadn't looked anything up. We were trying to beat the game legit for the first round. And here we are in Mega Man X, and there is a W. And I remember this moment of being like, what is this? And all of us are like, is that like an original Robot Master? Are we going to go in and fight like an old guy? And the idea was kind of exciting. The door's going to open. And when it opens, we're going to see a remastered, new version Robot Master. Not exactly. The door opens, and we were like, oh, dude, it's even the old opening. And we run through, and we go in, and And all of a sudden, Cutman is in that room. But they didn't do this with Cutman. He is actually still the original Pixels. The original Pixels, the 8-bit Cutman. And that music comes on. And he's doing this little thing what he does because he's with his... And he starts jumping around the room. And he's so small. I remember I was not playing. I was not the one holding the controller. He's so small because like now the characters are about this big and he's like this. They kept him and he's like weep and he's jumping around his room and he's throwing tiny scissors and they're shooting over his head. And they're like, I can't hit him. He's too small. He's too small. And he's with this little thing that he does and he's jumping, he's throwing. And I was like, oh my God, this is magical. Like it was one of the coolest moments that I remember. And I think if I remember right, whomever was playing lost. He died to him. I don't think we actually beat him on that run through. And we were like, that was crazy. And even losing it was still one of those things where it was like so exciting that it even happened, that they snuck something like that into the game. And on top of that, I then had another moment, because I'm never going to have a chance to talk about Cutman. I have another Cutman story. We're playing the Switch, and we're playing the Virtual Console, the Game Boy. And I'm like, they released all the Mega Mans! So turn this Mega Man game on. And I remembered the Mega Man game on Game Boy is kind of broken. Mega Man 1. Like, the hit detection does not work the same. The controls do not feel the same. It's not the same. Like, to give you an idea, when you shoot Cutman in the original game, or in Mega Man X7, when you do make contact with him, he flinches, and he goes, and he kind of moves back a little bit. That's not a small deal. It's a huge deal. Because when you take that away, when Cutman does not wince, and out of habit, you go for Cutman first. You walk in that room, and he goes, and then he starts running at you, and you shoot him, because of course you do. He flashes and keeps on coming. There is no jar effect this time. He just runs right at you, and he runs into you. And old Mega Man, in case anybody's never played Mega Man, old Mega Man, when he hits you, you get hurt. Like the collision between Robot Master and Mega Man gets hurt. Weapon, hurt. Man, hurt. Mega Man is vulnerable to any form of collision in that room. So I'm trying to fight Cutman. And he is jumping in the air, and his feet keep hitting me, or his scissors hit me, or I hit him a couple of times, and I'm getting him down in life and everything, but he's not dying. And because and of course, if I can't kill him fast enough, and he keeps hitting me, and then he like stands on top of you. Because the game is designed in the Game Boy one anyway, that when he runs on top of you, he just stays on top of you, and you can't get off of him. So you're trying to like run and jump, and then he's running and jumping, and he's just standing on top of you and throwing scissors, and you're dead. You just crack, because when you get hit, you still wince. He doesn't have the wince anymore. So you just, and then he's standing on top of you, and then he's standing on top of you, and then you're dead. Pew, 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 pew. And then you're mad, because Mega Man is not supposed to work that way. There is a balance that exists in every single Mega Man game. There is an argument that people make when they talk about Mega Man 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, that they're all the same game. Minor upgrades. They get boring because they're all the same. I would argue that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, all of them are fantastic, because they are all the same. And because part 1 is great, part 2 is great, part 3 is great, part 4 is great, part 5 is great, part 6 is great. They're all great because they didn't have to worry about making a better game. They'd already done it. Mega Man X is tremendous because we finally did get away from the formula. But it doesn't demean my point at all. If you could play 6 fantastic games, but they were all pretty much the same kind of thing, but they're all 6 really good, would you do that? Or would you jump over to another gaming series that part 1 is really good, part 2 is absolute trash, part 3 is pretty good, part 4 is the best game that you've ever played, but part 5 is absolute trash? You see how they just found something that worked and they said, this is Mega Man. I'm okay with that. But because I'm okay with that, when you break the game, it's broken. Like, it drives me crazy. And so I die to this Cutman like it's like 10 times in a row. And I'm getting irritated because I know I can beat him. But I haven't played the Game Boy game in a very long time, and I forgot that it was broken. So now I'm irritated. My kid comes over. And she's like, oh, this is Mega Man. And I'm like, kind of. And she goes, let me try him. You know what? Yeah, go ahead. So she tries him. He does the same crap to her and she dies. And then I watch my kid in real time do like I've done 1,000,000 times. She goes, well, no, hold on, I can get him. And she tries again, and she dies. And she tries again, and she dies. And she tries again, and she dies. And she's like, no, I'm not leaving here until he dies. And then she just completely goes full on, and she's like, we are staying here. We are doing this until he no longer lives. I will not be beat by this goofy scissorhead man. And so I start nagging, I start like nagging her on, right? So she, like, because Cutman is in the room, and he'll jump up, and she's like got him almost, she's got him like 2 plates, like she's almost got him. And then he jumps up, and like his toe, his little big foot makes contact with her. Dink! Just kicks her in the side of the temple, and she's pew, pew, pew. And I was like, toe kick, man! And she's like, shut up! It's not funny. It's not funny. And she just gets reamed over and over and over and over and over until finally she does beat him. And she has this moment that's just very, very like one of those moments like, you know, you've had it in gaming where you beat that in pot. You're like, yes! She has that moment. She's like, I did it. I beat him. Screw him. And then we beat the rest of Mega Man 1 together. Like, and it was awesome. It was everything I wanted it to be. And I gotta give it to her, man. That is when you know, because kids will go through these phases where they want to win and then they lose and then it makes them mad and then they're kind of sore losers. When you see your kid reach that point where they're like, no, I can do this. And it's hard, but they keep on going because they're gonna get it. That perseverance moment, that's when you know that at that point in time, your kid has moved up to a point where now you can play any game with them. You can play fighting games. They will lose. They will just get better. You can play side-scrolling beat-em-ups. They will lose and they will deal with it and they will get better. And they're interested in playing again and again as they get better. Once you reach that point, it's open season. Play games with your kid because you only got that time for so much. Use it. And strangely enough, Cutman is what kicked off a gaming like legacy right now, like an absolute run through where I have dug almost 20 different games off of my shelf. And me and my kid have just been whopping games, just beating game after game after game after game after game. And those are my 2 Cutman stories that I have. And I'm never going to get another chance to talk about him because when's the next time I'm ever going to get a Cutman? More than likely never, because even if they release another one, I'm happy. I think this is all I'll ever need. Let's see him. Like, because I've talked enough. Let's see Cutman. Okay, so simple as it can be, but awesome as it can be, these Mega Man figures are absolutely fantastic. There he is. Look at him, look at him. Yes, it's so good. Like, you know what? I gotta give it to these. These are so amazing. Like, they're very simple figures from Jada, but they do everything that you want them to do. They move basically perfectly for what they are. Look, here's his little jump. He's got his little jump, and he jumps up, and he toe kicks you. Bap! And you're dead. He's got this. Look at this smug little face that he comes with. This is awesome. And then he has, of course, his angry little I'm gonna fight face. And then his skizzers. His skizzers just go right on here. And they open up. And dude, he is so freaking awesome. He's got this hand right here, probably for throwing a pair of scissors. And he's got this hand for holding a pair of skizzers. I'm pretty sure that's what this is. I think that's the reason the hand is shaped that way. Maybe not. Maybe the idea is that these don't... He probably can't hold it either way. I don't know. I would be surprised. He's got them. And because Jada is awesome, and they always want to give me something, he comes with this little stand right here. And this one's a little different than the other ones that were released. Because it's got that little indent right there so it can hold the scissors so you can throw the scissors. So this is so cool, man. Like, it is such a simple figure. And I think I'm going to go with that other face, by the way. Let me take this off. Let me pull the head. Super simple, by the way. That was absolutely super simple. Like, no problem at all. That was no problem at all. That went right on there, just perfect. Came off, just perfect. Absolutely nothing in the way. Smug as he can be. Oh, come on. We definitely want the scissors to work. Yes! There it is, man. Look at that smugness. Oh, he's so smug. Look at that. Yes, I keep a Mega Man directly on my desk all the time. And I've already done the video with this. These figures are so good. Like, I know there are other people doing these figures right now. But, like, Jada was the one that caught my interest. They just... There's little small things about them that just absolutely rock me. Like, this is everything that I want it to be. It is so unbelievably simple. And yet it is so unbelievably perfect. Like, yeah, look at that. Look at that smug guy. Look how smug he is. Dude, this, he might go on my desk too, actually, for a little while. Flame Man, when I was a kid, was the one that I thought was the coolest one from these. But, like, if you've had any interest in Mega Man figures, these are incredibly affordable. And they are small, so maybe you could argue they're overpriced. I would argue they're not. Looking at where prices are in toys in general, I think they're perfect. I think they don't cost way too much. I think they look unbelievably fantastic. Each one of them comes with multiple heads. Each one of them comes with an action effect. Sometimes multiple action effects, by the way. Like, yeah, Mega Man comes with just that blast, but Fireman, he actually comes with a hair, and then he comes with 2 different fire things for his hands, and then he comes with another fire effect, which is the actual blast attack. So you get 4 effects with Fireman. Like, that's sick. And it's for practically nothing. Guys, these are like $20 figures. At this point, a $20 figure, you can't. Can you really complain with what figures are starting to cost right now? And I'm not even talking about the stuff that's going on. I'm just talking about action figure prices, period. I love it. And I guess because It is Cutman, and I'm never going to have a chance to mention this again. Let us also not forget that Cutman was in that terrible, terrible cartoon. And his power was about the lamest thing ever. Because, like, he literally had the scissors. And he would be like, "Yeah, Mega Man." And he'd take it off his head. And be like, "I'll show him." And he'll, like, throw the little thing. And, like, he would, like, cut a rope. Or, like, just absolutely... Like, he'd be like, he'd throw the thing. And he'd go over there. And then he'd like, and cut, like, a little line and something. It was, like, terrible. He was, like, one of the worst guys in the whole show, to the point where, if I remember right, most of the time Mega Man didn't even really bother, like, taking him out or whatever, like, taking his power for the most part. Like, he'd use it once or twice in the show, but I think it was, like, the one that he took the least, because, like, what's he gonna do with it? I mean, oh man, I love it. It's so good. It is so cool to be able to put Mega Man figures on the shelf. Like, that is an absolute dream. And to have good ones, it's absolute standout, guys. Like, I couldn't ask for better right now. Like, you could be mad about your collecting. I'm not. I honestly feel like we are living in a golden age for collecting. And while we're running into hard spots right now, even if the entire world of toys caved in on itself tomorrow, with everything that already exists and everything that has existed and everything at the level of accessibility, if you're willing to go after the small pieces that you want, I have Red Sonjas on my shelf. I have Star Trek on my shelf, multiple Ninja Turtles, all the Fantastic Four. Like, I have multiple Conan the Barbarians. I have the Conan throne. I have Mega Man figures. I have 1/6 scale Teela's. I think she's 2 feet tall. I think I have like a 2 foot tall Wonder Woman. Like, I got giant battle cats and panthers. And multiple designs to pick from. I'm enjoying myself. I really hope you guys are too. Let's hit the chat. Chop, chop. I summoned him. You didn't summon nothing. Needed a shower after using the bathroom, so I was listening and voting. Just hard to type. OG Robot Master is finally upon us. Funny how Kage Shadow doesn't love Shadow Man. No, his favorite was always Cutman. Well, Bill, I think you have a golden opportunity. I might be the only person who liked playing X7. I beat it multiple times. But if you had to ask me the worst Mega Man, it's X7. Like, far and away. It was me or Craig, and we were hype and pissed at the same time. Dude, like, it's so wild. Pretty gangsta until Cutman pulls the Ant-Man Thanos strat. I watched my brother play 1 and 2. One of my first video games I got to choose was Mega Man 3. That's when he first got the sliding animation in the series. Nobody's going to get that reference. You're right. I did not get what this was necessarily. Dr. Wily! Dr. Wily! Mega Man is approaching. Let's see. Mega Man was the first game that made me come to the realization that memorization is key to beating it. If you don't remember exactly where each enemy comes out, you won't win. How could you not bring up the crappy cartoon? I kind of did, but be honest, I only remember small parts of it, and basically the parts that I remember is that Cutman was pathetic. The internet needed that Cutman story. Did it? Did it not? Did it need that? Dude, it's kind of weird. Like, I look at these little things sometimes and, like, how they tie in to such big parts of my life that, like, I'll never think about the same way. Like, that little thing with my kid, like, it really was, man. That was a moment. Like, and I will never get it back. And strangely enough, it's tied to Cutman. Like, of all the things that will forever bring that memory up, that small moment with my kid that I will never get back, it's Cutman. It's Cutman and the brokest Cutman to exist specifically that has literally set off the last year in gaming for me, because that was at the beginning of this year. Was it? No. Hold on. It was last year about June. That's what kicked it all off. Because it was right around the time that I went to the Dells. Because me and my kid played that Mega Man. And died to Cutman many times. And then finally beat him. And then wrecked part 1. And then about a week later, we were in the Dells, and I had the Switch, and while we were at the hotel room, me and Nick and her were all playing Mega Man. Like, wild. Wild when I honestly think about it. Like, absolutely unreal. Cutman. Such a stupid little thing to tie a memory to that I know will mean something to me for years to come. But that's one of these weird things about toy collecting and collecting in general, is that if you collect the way I do, and I've talked about this many times, of course we have the video that talks about it specifically, every single item that I buy, every item in my collection has a story. And it might be crazy how tiny or big of a story that is, how major of an event it is. From the skate kick that Bison lays on you, to the ridiculousness of this drug addict right here, to the White Vader that can get me to talk about Darth Vader politics for literally an hour if I really wanted to go into it, to Cutman that literally kicks off the latest events in all of my gaming life right now. Like, I'm going back and playing so many games that I enjoyed, and games that I never got to beat, or games that I know my kid would love. Like, we beat Persona 4. We beat Golden Axe 1 and 2. We have not been able to beat 3. We keep getting trounced. But we'll do it. We played Toe Jam and Earl all the way through. We beat Injustice 1 and 2. She's currently learning on a level that is getting very competent, Dead or Alive. Like, we started Dragon Age. She's ripping through that right now. Like, I'm just taking games off the shelf. And there's a lot of other ones too, but like, Cutman, strangely enough, invigorated my gaming and kind of got my kid in there with me. Weird. So weird. She didn't get screwed like you did, but she did open one of those presents, and she was like, "Rockets, get what?" And she plays as Earl, by the way, which is so good. Golden Axe, such a series of great games, but hated when the enemies would come flying my character in the face. Dude, they did too. They did too. Man, so wild. Well, guys, we got through 4 figures. I might have a topic. Depending on when I go back and listen to all this, I might be able to pick up one of those topics and turn it into one of the chapters. But this probably is a five chapter thing. I'll probably get about 5 episodes out of this, and then I have 3 episodes that I are already recorded, and maybe If I don't come in here tomorrow, I know that I'll be filming at least one thing on the main camera tomorrow. Something that I've wanted to get out of the way. And who knows, maybe a figure will show up tomorrow. I know I've still got a couple things that have been waiting from Walmart that have not shown up yet, that I'm very blatantly seeing other people have already gotten, that I'm like, oh, did you get that? I don't have that. I ordered at the same time as you. I don't know. Did I like the Solo movie? I don't know. Like, and I'm being very honest about it, I've had a tough time figuring out if I like that movie or not. Like, I've watched it 4 times now. And I will say the last time I watched it, strangely enough, I enjoyed it. Like, the first time I watched it, I was kind of indifferent. The second time I watched it, I remember being like, I think this movie might be trash. I didn't even get through the whole thing. Third time, I honestly can't remember what it was like to watch that movie. I cannot honestly recall how I felt about it. The fourth time I watched that movie, I not only enjoyed it, and enjoyed it quite a bit, strangely enough, maybe I was just in the right mood, but I also couldn't help but laugh my ass off when they're in the Millennium Falcon and they're flying and they're shooting, and then the gun gets ripped off. His name is like Beck, if I remember right. It goes "Katoo" or something like that. He says, "We lost the gun, and I hurt my thumbs." Like, I don't know. There was something about that just made me laugh over and over. Like, I couldn't help it, man. That one moment just did it, man. Sometimes I don't understand. Like, sometimes it very much comes down to the way that I'm feeling. And I know that. And I also know that sometimes the longer I sit with a movie, my attitude will change towards it. I have kind of a rule of thumb with movies. Anytime I watch a movie once, I will kind of avoid telling you what I think about it, because I don't know if I've escaped the hype of seeing a new movie yet. I need to see a movie at least 2 times, and the second time I watch a movie, it needs to be after that moment of hype has died down. I watched it in the theater, I'm very excited, it's cool, I went to the theater, maybe it was a big thing, and I'm very excited about the movie, and I'm still kind of high about the movie. That's not an honest evaluation of how I truly feel about that film. I need to let it sit with me for a while. And then it comes out, and then I buy it, and then I can sit down, and after all the hype is gone, I can kind of judge that movie for what it is. And I kind of have that as an unwritten rule, like something that I stick pretty serious to about most all of my films that I watch. But I'm going to get out of here. I'm going to let the dog in and whatnot, and I'm going to, I don't know. I got about a half an hour before I head out of here, and I'm really debating if I'm going to play, I'm either going to watch something or I'm going to play, more Mass Effect, because I've really been enjoying going through Mass Effect again. It's been years. I haven't played it since it first came out, and now that it's out, but I played them back when they very first launched. And probably beat them within the first month of them coming out. Because basically I got the game on launch and that was the only thing I played. And now, all this time later, and I've had the game for like a long time, but I don't think people realize how much work this is. Like, this is cool, and we get in here and we talk and we hang out and we do a thing. But then later, now, like, no, I'm not complaining, but I'm being very honest about it. Like, I'm not going to go play a video game. Like, tomorrow, at some point, I'm gonna go to work, and then I'm gonna do all my normal work, and then I'm gonna come home, and then after I come home, I'm gonna take my wife to her job, and then I'm gonna come back here, take care of my dogs. Then after I take care of my dogs, I'm gonna load this up. I'm gonna download this file, and I'm gonna load that into my my editor, and then I've got to rewatch this entire stream, and then decide where I'm making cuts, what I'm keeping, what I'm getting rid of, what needs chapter points, what doesn't. And then after I rewatch the entire thing and do edits and get pictures if I need pictures and inserts and things of that nature, and then after I do all of that, you have to render every single project, and you have to make sure everything's right. And then every video that you render, and maybe this is just me, maybe I just like to be right about what I'm doing. Even though I watch it on here, after I render it, I watch that rendered project. So if I cut a 15-minute video and I had to edit that video for 27 minutes, so I watch it, I edit it, that's 27 minutes, that's a 15-minute video. Then I watch the 15-minute video that I rendered to make sure that it worked right, and then I upload it and I put all the tags and annotation and take all the notes and everything like that. That's a lot. I don't think people think about that because it just seems like, hey, he did a 17-minute video, talking head. He probably just clicked a button and sent it. I don't. I do a lot more with these than I think maybe even I'm supposed to sometimes. But that's the way it is. I think people don't really stop to think about how much people put into YouTube and how little to no return there actually is. Like, if this is something that you're wanting to do and it's not like a hobby, if it's something that you're wanting to get paid for, you better be in for the long haul because it's a lot of work, more so than I think people realize. Not complaining, just a moment, but everything that you put in, just like I say, you spend $20 here, you can't spend $20 here, your time is also limited. So the more time I spend editing, I'm not playing games, I'm not watching movies, I'm not catching up on shows, I'm not reading books, and if I'm spending time with my kid, that's the same argument all again. I'm not reading my books, I'm not playing my games, well, you get the idea. Anything you choose to do is the time you've chosen, and that time is gone. Not to get philosophical, but it's a very true thing to think about. So the more time I spend editing and videos and things of that nature, and then people come in and they'll say, have you seen this show? No, I've been editing. Like that's the truth of it. And that's the reason I'm also careful about how I do this now. Like, these offer me a leeway to come in, do the show, get out of the show, and then cut it into chapters, and it saves me a lot of time in terms of certain ideas, and it kind of frees up my zone to be able to do other things so that I don't burn out, because Fandom Night and Reploid Productions was a lot of work. Like hours and hours and hours and hours of work. I missed series and movies and hangout times. And I mean, if you ever ask the guys, if they, there were times that we would do the show, we'd film for basically the whole night, then we'd stop filming at like 8 o'clock at night, and then I would edit until like 2 in the morning while everybody else hung out. Like, I wasn't doing anything. I was just living the show, and that's really one of the things that was killing me with it. This is way better for me. It really fits my time more, and I can do it more realistically, and it's a lot better for me in the long run, because this can be a drag if you let it drag you down. You got to make sure that you're taking care of yourself as much as you're interested in what it is you're trying to do. Not a rant, and not a feel sorry or anything, and not a complaint either. Just kind of letting you know that whatever you choose to do, make sure it's something you want to do, because you won't be doing anything else whilst doing the thing you've chosen to do. Call it wisdom if you want. Either way, I'll be back with more stories, more figures, more talks, more things to disagree about. I'm going to get out of here.